Tony Boselli, their top pick, finally played last week against Green Bay. He's in there, but Jeff Novak is now in there for the injured Sean Bowens. And then Stewart, Maston, Jackson, Howard, and Rich Griffith, the tight end, is in there along with Berline. Then when they go to 3 wide, they'll call on Cedric Tillman to join the lineup. The ball is at the 16-yard line. After the interception by Darren Carrington, Jacksonville has a chance to go in early. Second down. Desmond Howard goes in motion. Back they go to Stewart, right over the left side, right behind Boselli, and he goes down to the 11-yard line. And Boselli and Novak did a nice job in clearing it out. They're close to a first down. The Oilers defense, a good front seven. They're missing Anthony Cook at the left defensive end. He's got a bad ankle. And I'll tell you a kid that's done well, Bob, Baron Wortham at the middle linebacker spot for the injured Michael Barrow. In the secondary, Dishman, Lewis, Bishop, Odie Harris starts in place of Chuck Cecil, who's out with a dislocated shoulder. And then Tomer Barnes will come in Houston's nickel package. It will be third down, really less than 1. The ball is at the 12-yard line. They need to get to the 11. LeShane Maston, the fullback. Stewart, Christopherson gets the carry and brings it down inside the 5, down to the 2. It's first and goal, Jacksonville. They went with a huge jumbo backfield there, really 2 fullbacks.
Right. Christopherson, the backup at fullback, lines up behind LeShane Maston, and they're just nothing fancy about this. Backs a trap, the backside guard pulling, and just bullying his way down to the 1-yard line. Just, they want to get out the game. They want to get the game going. They want to get a running game established. And right now, they've kind of got the Oilers on the heels.
Look at that, inside the 20, they've been good. The problem has been getting inside the 20. They're 7 for 8. And again, the big I formation, 2 fullbacks, Maston and Christopherson. Christopherson gets down near the goal line. He'll be just shy. And it will be second down.
A good penetration up front, and this is a situation where that's all you can do, especially when you see 2 fullbacks in the backfield. You're not going to play high as a defense. You're going to get down, you're going to undercut the offensive line, and you're going to allow give the linebacker some room to come over and make a hit.
Imagine that, only 1 rushing touchdown so far, and their backup quarterback, Mark Brunell, who is their leading rusher coming into this game, has that score. Berline has them second down and goal inside the 1 as the Houston defense will try and put up a wall here. Right back to Christopherson, right side, pushes, dives, touchdown, Jacksonville. They're on the board.
Well, that's what Steve Berline told us. They said in their running game, they like smash mouth football. They're going to line up with 2 tight ends. He didn't mention anything about the 2 fullbacks. But Christopherson coming in with LeShane Maston leading the way. It's very difficult, especially in a situation where you got a yard to go, to stop that kind of size.
Well, Berline's taken a nice stride and putting a stranglehold on winning that job. There wasn't a pass in the drive after the interception by Carrington, strictly on the ground, and Mike Hollis will try and tack on the extra point to give the Jaguars their 7-0 lead. Kick is up and good, and Jacksonville jumps out to an early lead here in the first quarter as Ryan Christopherson banged in from the 1-yard line after a Darren Carrington interception. 7-0 Jaguars. This is the NFL on NBC.
Well, here's another look at the touchdown. Just smash mouth football, like Steve Berline said. You're going to see a run to our left. LeShane Maston, basically the guy that got him this touchdown, just sticking his helmet into the linebacker, driving it back, giving Christopherson room to score. Just good. I mean, that's the offense and the running game that they want to do. They line up with 2 tight ends, and they just smash it away.
Darren Carrington's the hero, sets up that touchdown with the interception of Chris Chandler. Remember, Chandler last week, 23 of 26 passing, 4 touchdowns, didn't throw an interception. And Mel Gray takes it right at the goal line. And he has some room to the outside, 30, 40, and just shy of midfield. And he's chased out of there, finally, by Roderick Green.
Great return. And like you said, Jim, that guy, 48 yards on that return, but he's the guy. That's why they brought him in here. He has other talents, but right now they wanted to establish themselves as having a good special teams game. He's just going to get the Jaguars special team kickoff team just collapsed it just too hard on the one side, on the on their left side, giving Mel Gray the room to bounce it to the outside and get the extra yardage.
First down now. Great field position at the 48-yard line. Houston down 7-0 against Jacksonville. Chandler fumbled the snap. Rodney Thomas will take it. Still get a short gain out to the 50-yard line. So as great as the start was last week in Cincinnati, everything's gone wrong for Chandler as that exchange from Stepnoski popped up on him.
Right, and you wouldn't expect that. And they worked so well together last week that you thought that these guys would have some sort of momentum coming into this. But, you know, when you're fighting the ups and downs, it's difficult to keep going when you start have some downs early in the game. It can really weigh heavy on your mind.
Second down, 8 yards to go. Pitches to Thomas. Looking to the outside, and Jacksonville really springs it out well. Mickey Washington actually turned the play back into the inside. Then Carrington's over there along with James Williams and Keith Gogenius.
Well, that's exactly. We talked about the Houston Oilers offensive line being very talented, a lot of good ball players, but right now it's the defense of the Jaguars that is just outplaying them. You can see here they've got them pushed back on the line of scrimmage. They're pursuing. The defensive backs are coming up and filling hard. It's really they're winning at the line of scrimmage right now. Third down and 8.
Last week on third down, Chandler was 9 for 9 and threw 3 touchdown passes. Good protection. To Haywood Jeffries, but the ball was behind him down at the Jacksonville 35-yard line. And over on the coverage there was Vinnie Clark.
Yeah, Vinnie Clark had him covered pretty tight coming in as he broke it the route across the middle. You're going to see here, you're going to see the receiver coming in from the right there. Haywood Jeffries coming in, covered closely with Clark. Harry Colin right on him. But the key there, Jim, is Chandler just threw the ball behind him. Right now, he's not in a rhythm. He's trying to place the ball, and it looks like he's a little nervous throwing it.
Rich Camarillo standing at his 35-yard line. Desmond Howard is deep at his own 10 for Jacksonville. They lead 7-0. Makes the catch at the 16. Chased down from behind and caught and brought down by Trevor Barnes out at the 23-yard line. Jacksonville gets the ball back. They lead here in Houston 7-0. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Back in the Astrodome, Jim Donavon with Bob Golick. First quarter, 9:28 to go in the first quarter. Jacksonville's second possession of the day. They lead 7-0 after a Darren Carrington interception of Chris Chandler. Ryan Christopherson went in from the 1-yard line. And the Jaguars are out on top. Jumping inside and jumping offside there on the Houston defense as they come in. Glenn Montgomery was across the line too quickly. There's Mark Brunell, our referee today. Let's pick up his call. Yeah, no question. You can't even argue there, Bob, that he was drawn up. I mean, he was actually ready to take the snap.
Offside, number 94, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, he didn't even try to get back.
No.
He just went through and said, oops, my bad.
I'm judging him.
You know, and it's just good that they kept going, because you can it can be very dangerous if that play continues. A lot of guys just sit back and they forget that a play can actually continue.
Jeff Fisher can't like the way the team has come out here today so far. A shoddy start for the Oilers. Steve Berline clicking already. 1st and 5 now at the 34 for Jacksonville. And this will be his first pass. They have a screen pass set up for Stewart. Stewart wide open to the 50. Stewart being chased from behind and finally brought down inside the Houston 35-yard line to the 32, and the tackle made by Baron Wortham.
And I'll tell you what, they couldn't have had a better play called on this, because the Oilers came with a blitz. You're going to see from the right side of your screen, linebackers blitzing, and they dumped it off to the left. Now watch him here making the cut, and he's going to feel Baron Wortham closing on him here, and he's going to cover that ball up to make sure he doesn't get it pulled out. But big play for the Jaguars.
And it's a first down. It's a 38-yard screen pass from Berline to Stewart. All of those of you who have been watching watching the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots. The Falcons beat the Patriots today 30-17 here in Houston. Jim Donavon and Bob Golick and Steve Berline and the Jacksonville Jaguars out on top. Here in the first quarter, 7-0 is the score over the Houston Oilers. The Jaguars looking for their first ever regular season victory in the NFL.
Well, they've, like we said, they've been able to score inside the red zone. The problem has been getting to the red zone. Well, this drive here is kind of a new experience for them.
2nd down and 10 after the misfire on that pass. That's Craig Keith coming down the line in motion. Berline looping it out. He's got Pete Mitchell, and he makes a great catch and goes down inside the 5. 1st and goal, Jaguars.
Well, they are coming out with some interesting plays. They had both Pete Mitchell, 83, running a go kind of down the side. Now you'll see it here. On the left side of your screen, they're running Rich Griffith, number 85, and Pete Mitchell, both tight ends, on goes up the middle of the field. They initially had jumped Griffin as he was closer to the center of the field and gave Mitchell just a little bit more room to make the grab.
1st and goal, 29-yard play to Mitchell. Christopherson, and he's trapped and brought down inside the 5 at the 4-yard line. Craig Vesey got him from the ankles and brought him down.
Well, great job by Vesey. Now, you're going to see with the Houston Oilers, you've seen that they've had some very good defensive linemen in the past. Ray Childress being the most notable and probably the only one remaining out of those the past great defensive line. But they're going to be switching a lot of guys through, rolling them through, trying to keep them a little bit fresh. They feel that even the young guys are as good a pass rusher as the starters. Maybe a little bit down on the run game, but in the pass game, very, very good.
2nd down and goal. Mitchell in motion. 2 fullbacks in the backfield. Play action fake by Berline. Has nobody to throw it to, and he does the wise thing and throws it away. Mitchell got knocked down in the end zone, tied up with a couple of defenders, and that was a very smart play.
Very smart play. Well, he had eaten up a lot of his receivers and potential drop-off guys with the play action. You're going to see here they're going to run the play action. The backs are going to come into the line, block, fake the run, and so he has no outlet guys to go to. He's either got to drop it to Mitchell or throw it away. Mitchell double covered. Smart move by Steve Berline.
Tom Coughlin, Jeff Fisher down on the knees right now, and Steve Berline ready to set his Jaguars up. 3rd down and goal inside the 5. Already the Jaguars lead 7-0. Berline up in the air, letting Desmond Howard leap to get it, and he was too high. Incomplete. They'll have to settle for 3.
Well, the Oilers came with a safety blitz that time. I think Steve perhaps didn't anticipate that. He had spread that defense out pretty much with the receivers in his formation. Then the Oilers came with a blitz the last second. Steve just tried to lay it up there for him, but just a little bit too high.
Brian Barker will hold for Mike Hollis. Hollis on the year 3 for 4. This is a 22-yard attempt to try and make it 10-0. Kick is right down the middle and good. It's been all Jacksonville so far here in the first quarter. A 22-yard field goal, and Steve Berline and the Jaguars lead over Houston 10-0.
Welcome, Dave. ABC tonight.
Former Oilers offensive coordinator and at one time assistant head coach here, Kevin Gilbride, has the offense clicking today. Last week in the first half against Green Bay, 18 total yards, no first downs. Today in the first quarter, and it's not even over yet, they have 87 yards. 10-0 Jaguars. Here's Mel Gray. Short kick at his 10 and short of the 30 out to the 29. On the ball almost squirted loose, and the tackle is made by Santos Stevens as he covers for Jacksonville.
And one of the funny things in talking to Kevin Gilbride yesterday is that he said when they came in here as the visiting team, they wanted to know where they went. He goes, I didn't even know where the visiting team's locker room was.
Well, this is Mel Gray down injured, and he's got a hand up by his jaw as he lays down at the 30-yard line after that kickoff return. And Houston can ill afford to have him out of the lineup for any point of time, because that guy is instant field position. Isn't that the way you describe him?
Oh, exactly. He is a guy that is, if you can find a spot, any kind of a crack in that coverage team, he's going to be able to exploit it. And like we said before, that's the reason, that's the one and only reason they brought him in. There's other things he can do, but initially that's what they wanted from him. Good field position.
There's Gary Brown, the running back who did so well in this offense and rushed so well, but last week, first play, second quarter in Cincinnati, he went down with the knee injury, and he's going to be lost for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, you know, he was a guy that last year that really had a very good year, but started off this season in the first couple of games, he was averaging about a yard and a half a carry. That's when Rodney Thomas started getting a little bit of playing time. Gary Brown was able to kind of kick it up a little bit and start playing, but then suffered it. So at least Thomas had a little bit of experience before being put in as a starter because of this injury.
And they continue to attend to Mel Gray. So in the absence of Brown, there is the rookie Rodney Thomas getting a great shot here today. And what the Oilers felt after last week was that he's really starting to get his footwork down. I mean, he was running like a college back, and they thought maybe in the second half last week against the Bengals, when called upon to run, started to run a little bit like an NFL back, and that's a big difference, isn't it?
Right. That was an interesting comment by them, that he said he was starting to run like an NFL back. But I think he's running with much more confidence. He just is going out there. He doesn't have that wide-eyed look anymore. He knows what his job is, and he's going and attacking the line.
All right, Bob, let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York on the Steelers-San Diego Chargers game.
All right, Jim, and in Pittsburgh, the Steelers have jumped all over the Chargers. Shannon Mitchell can't control it. Willie Williams picks it off, and watch the return. Weaves back across to this side of the field. Second touchdown of the game for the Steelers. That one good for 63 yards, 14-0. Steelers lead the Chargers in the first, Jim.
Thanks, Greg. Mel Gray is walking off, and we've got a big story developing here. Look at that. Jacksonville 10, Houston nothing. 6:21 left to go in the first half, and let's see if we can pick up Mel Gray on the return, Bob, and what happened to him.
Yeah, he just took a slashed it up the middle, found a little opening, and it looked like he lost his footing, kind of twisted himself a little bit, but he banged his head pretty good on the turf there, Dan. A lot of people don't know it. That's like falling on concrete sometimes when you get that head contacted with the ground.
Down 10-0 now. They've spotted Jacksonville. 10 quick points. Chris Chandler and the Oilers offense goes to work. He rolls out for the first time. And that was almost picked off. Stepping and trying to pick it off was Mickey Washington. And he knocks the ball away and falls out of bounds, and it will be second down. And what's going on with the Oilers passing game?
I mean, is this incredible after what we saw last week with Chris Chandler? This is incredibly different. Mickey Washington almost stepped in front of this. He's rolling out here. Chandler rolling out, and Mickey Washington just great closing speed on that ball, making a good play for him.
He is 0 for 3, 1 interception. Second down and 10, and lucky to have the ball back for second down, too. That could have easily been intercepted for a second of the day. Hageman got a pretty good rush from the outside. They throw to Todd McNair, and he completes first completion of the day out near the 38-yard line. They'll be third down and short.
Well, Jim, regardless of what they say about the offensive line, the running game, they just can't get started. They're having problems in the passing game with dropping it off the receivers. He's going to have to get some confidence for himself and pick up some yardage by dumping it to the backs.
Jerry Rome, the offensive coordinator. Chandler and Rome have a great relationship. They had a very good one in Arizona together, and that's a big reason why Chandler came here when Rome came here. And now on third down, they come up to the line of scrimmage, third down and 2. Jacksonville putting some linebackers up in the line of scrimmage, showing blitz. Chandler throwing it away, and almost picked off again by Carrington, as Derek Russell had taken the route to the inside. And who would have ever thought that after throwing 23 for 26 last week, this guy would hear boos?
Exactly, and it's not even so much. They're booing for legitimate reasons. There is a breakdown in communication between Chris Chandler, as we look at his numbers there, incredibly different than last week, and his receivers. He's throwing behind the receivers. The receivers are breaking the routes the wrong way, and he's just throwing it where he thinks they're going to be. They're just not communicating out there.
Camarillo's second punt, and Desmond Howard waits for Jacksonville. Desmond inside his 15, falls down at the 12, and that's where Jacksonville is pinned in. It's been a tough start for Chris Chandler. Good start for Jacksonville. They lead 10-0 here in the first. This is the NFL on NBC.
Well, You know, there's a lot of talk about this year about the hits on the quarterback. Well, a rule that's been around for a couple of years is you can't contact a quarterback's head. Now, if you're going to have these rules, there's got to be consistency. Lageman with a great hand right in the face of Chris Chandler. If you're going to start calling those things, you got to call it all the time. That was very blatant.
Jeff Lageman on the sideline, best defensive player at the start of this season. Real stand-up guy for the Jaguars. They're deep in their own territory now, out at their own 13-yard line. Stewart, and he's to the 16. Boy, they just have a nice offensive flow going here today, because even to get that little success on a running play has been a problem through their first 4 games.
And one of the reasons, I think, Jim, is that they run what they term as a multiple offense. I think it depends on who you talk to on that team. They give you kind of a different answer of what they expect out of that offense. But with a multiple offense, a lot of formations, a lot of responsibilities, it makes it doubly tough for a young team like this that hasn't worked together to gel.
See, they got 4 yards on that first down play, and that's very good. 2nd down and 6. And Stewart heads out in motion. Berline with nice time throws. Stewart got belted over on the sideline. Closing on the play is Darrell Lewis, who had a rough day last week in Cincinnati, but he comes up there and belts Stewart as Berline kind of put him in a bad spot.
Yeah, well, Darrell Lewis is a player. He is going to make some big hits. And, you know, he's a guy defensively. Not only can he cover and move around, but his closing speed is something they love. And you see here, he loves to contact the receivers, too. Watch him come up and make a nice shot. And you're right, Berline did kind of lay him out there a little bit.
Bob. 3rd down and 6. Big play for the Oilers defense, because if they could get the Jaguar offense off the field, they could end up with some good field position. Berline looks like he calls the play at the line of scrimmage. Does he want to go into a shotgun? Yes. They're going to run it. Stewart won't get the first down, just got about 2 yards and runs right into the arms of VC and Walker, and there's a flag down because they didn't get playoff in time.
I was watching that, and half the guys are standing there. The other half are running.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, as soon as he broke huddle, he came up and he started changing the play or calling a different formation. And then he decided, was kind of in between as to whether or not he wanted to go shotgun or go underneath center. So it wasn't a good start, and it was a very bad finish.
And Kevin Gilbride has said that they're starting to feel some confidence with that offense, where they can have that check with me situation. They get up, they see a formation, a defense they don't like, they can check out of the play called and audibles elsewhere.
3rd down and 11. Lachey Maston comes over and changes sides beside Berline. Berline fires to the middle. A deflected ball almost picked off. Charging in to almost get it was Tomer Barnes. And there's a flag down in the backfield. And they rough the passer. How about that? Houston comes up with their first big defensive stand, and they hit Berline late.
And they just came with 4 guys up front. They rushed 4 on them.
Personal foul.
The guys laid off.
Roughing the passer. Number 71.
Yeah.
Defense.
I guess that was a
15-yard penalty.
A good call if you're going to stick to the letter of the law. You know, they come in. You're not. I mean, you can't. The new rule saying you can't get in there. Like they don't have that one-step rule anymore.
All right, I'll buy that. But would you say that Lageman's hit on Chandler was worse than this?
Lageman's hit on Chandler was a hand to the head. That is something that's been called for the last couple of years. This shot in the back. This wasn't even a hard shot. It wasn't to the head. Wasn't anything dangerous. I think this definitely was not a good call.
Ball is out at the 27-yard line. With that penalty goes a first down, and Jacksonville is able to hold on to the ball now and start all over with a fresh set. Desmond Howard races in motion. Look at all this movement. Tight ends jumping out. Stewart bounces off the pack and then lunges to the 30.
Well, you talk about a team that is starting to feel some confidence. Do you know how hard it is to coordinate something like that? Not only the motion, but to know one guy's coming off the ball, the other guy on the other side has to step up on the line of scrimmage. Very, very difficult to coordinate all this. You know, what they do by what they accomplish with all the motion, with all the changes. A lot of guys are out of position. They're not sure where their responsibility is. They may be a little bit leery about where they're going to go. Gives them a little extra room to work.
Here they go again. All kinds Return to Shifton. Tight ends moving around. Griffith and Keith. Berline with a pump fake. Got in trouble because the blockers forced him back into himself, and he got knocked down as pushing through was Ford and Montgomery. And he lost his legs is what happened. He had no legs to throw the ball. They were all tied up.
Well, you know, you talk about pass rushes, you usually talk about the guys forcing on the outside, but you need a pusher inside. And Glenn Montgomery just dominated in the middle. He took the offensive lineman, just drove him straight back right into Steve Berline.
Third down and a bundle. 3rd and 12. Berline throws it. They get a little screen set up for Howard, and Howard on that quick slant makes the catch and brings it to the 32, which will get them better field position to punt the ball out of there. And the Oiler defense, after committing the penalty on the roughing the passer call on Berline, heads off the field.
Well, they've got to feel good about the fact that they stopped him here. You know, that you get a little nervous, you make some mistakes, force a penalty, get a penalty which gives them a first down. You start to wonder a little bit about if you can go out there and perform, but they were able to shut him down.
Travis Hanna is back to take the punt. Mel Gray got a finger in the eye. He's going to be okay, but Hanna's back taking this one for a 1-yard return, and then he's just hog-tied and brought down by Reggie Clark. Is Clark excited or what? Jordan was also in there, but boy, did he get down there. He just picked him up and threw him back down onto the turf. And Houston does not have great field position to start with, just out over their own 15-yard line. It's 10-0. Jacksonville in the lead over the Houston Oilers here in the first quarter. Next Sunday, NBC Sports presents another exciting NFL doubleheader. 12:30 start time Eastern time with the NFL on NBC. Future Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana, Super Bowl champion coach Mike Ditka join host Greg Gumbel and Ahmad Rashad. They get you geared up for Week 6 action. Here's Chandler back to pass on first down. Throws. Hayward Jeffries is wide open. First down Houston out to their own 37-yard line. That's the Chandler of last week. Mickey Washington was over on the coverage of Jeffries.
Well, he looks a lot more relaxed. They're going with a play action. See if make up inside, hold the linebackers, give the receivers just a little bit more room behind the linebackers to find an open space. And this time, he seemed more relaxed in his throw. He didn't try to place it. He just laid it out there for Haywood.
21 yards, first down. Rodney Thomas is the lone back in the backfield. They've had no running game today. They've been throwing, and that's been way off. Now they have to try to give it to Thomas on the running game, and he's out to the 40-yard line. Lageman is in on the tackle along with Don Davey. It was Davey in the first game of the season when they played who knocked down Chris Chandler and injured his shoulder.
Well, you know, watch Lageman here. Just jams his guy up, gets penetration, 2 yards back in the backfield, separation. That's what a defensive lineman is asked to do. It isn't so much controlling the guy in front of you. If you control your lineman, it does you nothing. You have to be able to get separation and make the play.
3 wide receivers on second down at 7. Lageman very quick into the backfield. Chandler going to run it out, slide, and he's out to the 43, where he's brought down by Keith Gogenius, but Lageman was in there very quick on the right side.
Okay, and as you get older, you look for a way to enhance your game.
And that will be on 56.
What happened in the old days when guys used to fight to get back into position before the snap?
Offside, number 56, defense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, the Jaguars can't start beating themselves now. They've played good, sound ball on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Lageman here, just a mental breakdown, a little anxious getting off the ball, but they've got to stay focused the way they did come into this game.
2 penalties now on Jacksonville, 10 yards in penalty yardage marked off, but more important for Houston, they get second down and 2 instead of second and 7, and they're on 45. Thomas. Lageman got him as he got by Brad Hopkins, his blocker, and stopped him short of the first down. He came a long way to get Thomas, too.
Jim, it just looks like me. Thomas is setting up so far in the backfield, and Chandler is going back there to meet him, reaching out, handing him the ball, and by the time Thomas is handed the ball, the defense is just given time to get through the gaps and to get pressure. Takes away all his cutback lanes.
That is the end of quarter number 1 here in the Astrodome. And the Oilers trailed the Jacksonville Jaguars 10-0. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Set to begin the second quarter here at the Astrodome. Jim Donavon with Bob Golick. Jacksonville looking for their first win ever in the regular season. Leads after 1 quarter over Houston 10-0. They scored after a Darren Carrington interception. Set them up. Ryan Christopherson went in from the 1-yard line. That made it 7-0. And then Mike Hollis hit a 22-yard field goal to make it 10-0. Chris Chandler, who was so tremendous last week against Cincinnati, has struggled here in the first half. It's 3rd down and 1. They give the ball to Marion Butts for his first carry. He was signed earlier this week, and he stopped short of the first down. He'll lose 3 back to the 41-yard line. Marion Butts with the Chargers, great years, a bad year in New England. Tried it out with the 49ers this preseason and got the call this week to try and sign with Houston, and he's in there today.
Well, they had been talking to him in the preseason also and trying to get him up the free agent market, but they weren't able to work that out early on, and they figured that because he comes from San Diego, the numbering system and a lot of the things that they do here in Houston are very similar to what he did in San Diego. That's why they figured he'd fit in very quickly.
Well, he got off to a shaky start. Camarillo to punt again. Desmond Howard back for the Jaguars. Desmond never calls for fair catches, does he? To the 20, and he's got plenty of running room. And you know he's got speed. He's to the 35-yard line and out of bounds. Chased out by Eddie Robinson. Let's go to New York right now with Greg Gumbel. We're going to talk baseball. Check out the Yankees.
All right, Jim, in Toronto, Pat Hinkin on the mound, Don Mattingly with home run number 7 of the year to help power the Yankees to the postseason. A 6-1 Yankee victory. Don Mattingly will play postseason ball for the first time in his 14-year career. Meanwhile, one other spot still to be determined if these scores stand up. Seattle and California will have a 1-game playoff tomorrow. Jim?
Thanks, Greg. I'm happy for Don Mattingly. 10-0 Jacksonville in the lead. 1st and 10 after that fine punt return by Desmond Howard at their own 34-yard line. Here's James Stewart. Stewart will struggle to get a yard to the 3rd 5. Chase down. Darrell Lewis was there along with Joe Bowden, the right outside linebacker.
Well, the running game early in the game where they've tried to establish something up front, they've been going with 2 tight ends, kind of powering it away, a lot of blocking up front. That time they went into their multiple formation book, and they came out with 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, tried to spread the defense out a little bit, give their running game a little bit more room to maybe pop one.
2nd down and 9 after the 1-yard run by Stewart at the Jacksonville 35. Short drop by Burline, looks for Desmond Howard, and that should have been picked off by Chris Dishman, and he knows it.
Great play by Dish.
Boy, did he read it well, and he just couldn't finish it off.
Well, you know, somebody who is reacting that quickly to a pass, I've got to believe that the quarterback is looking at the receiver. And Burline just looked like he was looking at him the entire way. Dishman really getting a good jump and making the play on the ball.
Dishman told us yesterday about Desmond Howard. He's been watching a lot of film of Howard and didn't think that Howard ran his routes all that well, or up to NFL standards, and maybe that's one of the reasons why he's had a tough time in the NFL. 3rd down and 9 for Burline with a shotgun. Willie Jackson, who caught 2 touchdown passes last week, but they're going to be well short of the first down. As I guess, Bob, they laid it out there and tried to let Jackson do his speed and get the first down.
No, that's a big part of his game. Get the ball to him and let him pick up the yardage with the run afterwards. Jackson called into duty last week after the injury to Ernest Gibbons. Really responded well. People in Jacksonville just loved him.
He had 2 touchdowns. He had 2 others called back. Barker to punt. Travis Hanna replacing Mel Gray, who went out with a poke to the eye and is still out. Fair catch by Hanna. Oh, he let it hit at the 25, but it won't come back and hurt him too much. It's at the 27-yard line. 12 and a half 2.5 remaining here in the first half. 10-0 Jaguars in the lead.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now and have Domino's deliver the ultimate deep dish pizza by halftime. Because when it's gotta be deep, it's gotta be Domino's.
Back in the Astrodome, it will be Houston ball at their own 27-yard line. They trail the Jacksonville Jaguars. 10-0 with 12:37 to go here in the first half. Chris Chandler has had a tough start, a stale start, as have really all the Oilers. Rodney Thomas is the lone back in the backfield. Wycheck becomes the H-back moving across the line of scrimmage. He'll catch the ball at the 30. Lean out to the 36-yard line where he'll only be a yard shy of a first down. A nice, easy play.
Right. You know what? This Houston team just hasn't had enough success this year to really feel totally confident about the way they're playing. In order to get that confidence back, as rough as the beginning of this game was, they're going to have to hit this short game.
Well, maybe he was looking too big, and I'm speaking of Chandler early in their first couple of possessions. You know, he was invincible last week. Everything he threw was attached to an Oilers receiver's hand. So maybe he was just trying to do too many tough passes, and the easy one was the way to go. Here's Thomas, and he gets his first hole of the day and brings it out to the first down at the 44. Best running play of the day. In fact, I think their best offensive play of the day.
Right, and we were talking about this before. The earlier plays in the run game, he was giving it to him so deep in the backfield that the defense was reacting and shutting it down. This time, Thomas got the ball a little bit quicker, was able to gash that line before the defense gained control.
Neither team lighting it up running the ball, but Houston especially only 13 yards, and that comes after that nice run right there by Rodney Thomas. Again, Wycheck in motion. Jacksonville territory out at the 45-yard line. Nice run, bounced it to the outside, and let his blockers get out in front of him too.
Now he got out there and he really, that was all him. He wanted to hit up in that line. He saw it was closed up, and he bounced it down to the outside. You're going to see it. Logman coming up on the outside. Now he was kind of complaining at the end of that play that he might have been held, and I think Brad Hopkins was impeding his progress just a little bit in reacting to that run.
Well, as long as you say it's impeding, I don't think it's holding. First down, Chandler. Oh, McNair cannot get it. It was a deflected ball anyway at the 43-yard line. Tom McManus, the linebacker, first-year man out of Boston College, is on the coverage as Chandler gets up limping a little bit. Now remember, he's been dinged on both shoulders, right and left. And as soon as the right one got healthy enough, they got him back into the lineup.
Right. Initially, the first was the rotor kit. You're going to see here the hit on Chandler again. Logman coming up from behind. Yeah, just basically being pushed into the back of his knees and his ankle. Brad Hopkins trying to soften the blow by catching him, but so that's kind of a new joint that he hasn't had hurt yet.
Hopkins having a tough time handling Logman. Chandler fires. Derek Russell was knocked down by Gogenius at the 30-yard line. Or rather, Todd McNair was. McNair was knocked down by Gogenius at the 30-yard line, and there was no flag.
All we can assume here is that the referees considered it incidental contact.
And I think it was. I think it was. I think that's exactly what it was too.
Well, face it, these linebackers aren't they're not cornerbacks. They're going to get in there and they're working their butts off trying to cover some guys man to man. They may get a little closer, a little more physical than maybe a quarterback would.
This play looks a little disorganized, getting formed by the Oilers. McNair didn't know he was supposed to be in the play and then rushed back to the line of scrimmage and becomes part of a 4-wide receiver set on 3rd and 10. Again, Logman is a problem. They fire, but they might be short of the first down, and they're right at the stick as the completion is made to Rodney Thomas. As he gets to the 36-yard line, that's where the sticks are too, and the crowd is saying, if you're short, go.
We talked about this before. They got to do something to get their attitude up, to get their confidence going. You got to go for it here. Right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars, an expansion team, has been pretty much dominating this game. Jeff Fisher is not going to like that. He's definitely going to want to go get this.
Well, I remember a couple of weeks ago, Jeff Fisher delivered one of the ultimate fakes by a coach. An excellent thespian routine on the sideline against Cleveland as they call for a measurement, and they're about 6 lengths shy of a first down. So it's 4th down, and they are going to go for it because they're bringing in Butts and Wycheck, and Mike Rohn comes in too. But anyway, I can remember they were short against Cleveland going for it on 4th down. He said, go for it, go for it. And then they finally lined up, Bob, and you were here, and what did they do?
Right, they sat there and they did that kind of off-rhythm kind of thing, trying to draw Cleveland offsides, and Cleveland didn't buy it. We brought it up here. We saw the acting job on the sideline, but Cleveland, I don't know, they just weren't watching.
4th down and 6 inches. It's Marion Butts. First down. As he dives to the 34 and might have got to the 33-yard line too, but the most important fact is that he got the 6 inches.
Well, it's difficult out in the field. You're lining guys up in a goal line short yardage situation. Everybody's firing off low, allowing the linebackers to come over and make the fill. You're seeing at that point Gogenius coming up kind of late. He didn't react up fast enough to make the hit at the line of scrimmage.
First down, Houston, trailing 10-0 to Jacksonville. 9:18 to go here in the first half. Todd McNair, down flat in motion. Chandler fires to McNair. He's down to the 25-yard line and up near another Houston first down. Runs right into the arms of Gogenius and Mark Williams, and they're forcing those Jaguar linebackers now to cover. And now McNair's down, and that's this guy is a great receiver.
He was holding his midsection, and it looks to me, by trying to lift up his hips, that he may have knocked the wind out of himself. You see the defenders all converging. Or Gogenius' helmet was a pretty good shot to the ribs also, so we'll have to wait and get an idea or get a report from somebody.
8:57 to go here in the first half. 10-0 Jacksonville. This is the NFL on NBC.
Yeah. You on NBC is brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. By IBM, solutions for a small planet. And by Pepsid AC Acid Controller. You can be heartburn-free with new Pepsid AC.
It will be second down in short yardage. Todd McNair was taken off, and Bob, he got belted by a few linebackers, and Mel Gray with the ice pack over the eye as he took a finger in the eye. So the Oilers' injured list is mounting. This is a nice situation to be in, though. Second down is very short, and they're going to keep it straight and go to Rodney Thomas, and he's turning and twisting down to the 16-yard line for a first down. Great block by Wycheck, Bob. Excuse me.
Right. No, we talked earlier about him running like an NFL runner. Look at the confidence in the way he hits that line of scrimmage now, putting up some very good numbers. But you know, the reality here is they're giving to him the ball, and he's hitting the line of scrimmage a lot faster. The holes are there, and he's just attacking them. Look at the confidence. Look at the power he's hitting it with.
Another first down for Houston. Fakes, falls, and Paul Fraze is right on him. 25-yard line. I don't think you can blame it on the turf. I just think he just got his foot caught underneath him, and boy, look at that loss all the way back to the 25-yard line. That's a killer.
Right, and Fraze, good awareness. I mean, that was a play-action pass to the offensive left. He was going to boot. He was going to boot against it, which pretty much should have left him in the clear had the defense bid hard. But Fraze was able to redirect himself and get up there and make a good hit. I don't know. Had Chandler kept his feet, I think he would have worked it out a little wider and probably got outside of Fraze's grasp.
Second down at 19. Loss of 9. Back to the 25. Squeezes it right in for Derek Russell. He likes Derek Russell because of that kind of route. Russell likes to go over the middle. He's playing with a cracked rib. But yesterday, Chandler really gives Russell a lot of credit for being able to play like that.
Right, you know, you talk about guys like Haywood Jeffries and Chris Sanders, but Derek Russell is a guy who really runs the good route. And Chandler knows it, and the timing between the two. Watch him here as he just puts it right between the two receivers. Great timing, great awareness between the quarterback and the receiver.
Third down and 5, 14 yards on the play. Inside the 20, the Oilers not as good as Jacksonville is when they get inside the 20. Chandler. Oh, a drop. Just an outright drop. Rodney Thomas could not hang on. He had a first down at the 7-yard line, and he probably could have had more yardage too. And the drops have been a problem for the first 5 weeks for the Oilers. Well, last week, Bob, no drop. Before that, they had like 19, I think.
Right, last week being the exception, everybody held on. But 2 weeks ago against Cleveland, it was amazing. And I asked Chris, too, I said, you know what, that's got to get irritating after a while. You know, you're out there throwing, you hit the guy right in the hands and he drops. He goes, nah, you know, I wouldn't be human if I didn't get a little upset when they didn't catch the ones that were thrown right to him.
29-yard field goal. Al Del Greco, the Oilers are on the board. It's 10-3 with 6:35 to go here in the first half. This is the NFL on NBC.
Shaving.
Well, drop passes have been a problem today. Rodney Thomas drops their first of the day. They hope it's their last, but they would have been first and goal. Instead, they settled for a field goal by Al Del Greco.
Well, what they got to take solace in is that they established a pretty good drive, and they've got something going.
Jimmy Smith waits for it and takes it at his own 13-yard line. They have a return set up to the outside. And out over the 30. That was a nice return out to the 32-yard line. James Logan is in tackling on Smith. And there is a dog on the field here in Houston. This dog is trained to go out on the field and get the tee. That's terrific.
Well, everybody remembers Mojo. Remember Mojo?
Yeah,
He used to run out there and grab the tee and do a somersault, come off. So we saw Mojo. Mojo is, he's getting a little older, and so he's been taken over by Old Blue. Who's Old Blue, the dog or the guy?
No, Old Blue is the dog.
Okay.
First and 10, 6:23 to go here in the first half. Jacksonville, it would be advisable to get the offense going again now after they jumped out to that quick 10-point lead. They haven't done much the last couple of times they've had the ball. Burline with a nice pocket, and he finds Willie Jackson out to the 48-yard line at a first down. Second catch on the day for Jackson.
And that's the difference between Brunell and Steve Burline. Burline loves to stand in that pocket, and he'll stay there, and he'll wait, and he'll look for that. Now you're going to see Jackson just making that little break across the middle, covered by Dishman, but gets the separation he needs, and Burline's on him.
So you're saying maybe Brunell might have been out of there.
Brunell would have stepped up and perhaps even gone around with it. Defensively, the Oilers' defensive people, all to a man, said that he would run with it rather than sit there.
Out of the backfield, a screen flare goes to Stewart. Stewart runs it, and he's inside Oiler territory, down near the 42-yard line, very close to a first down.
Jim, I know I said this before, but this has been one of the problems that the Jaguars have had to deal with. They have got to make a decision. Is it Steve Burline? Is it Mark Brunell? I know they had some injury considerations early on, but if you're going to build an offense around some consistency, you've got to pick a guy who is going to run that system. You can't go back and forth, not with a young team like this.
Second down and short. Play it safe, get the first down, and that's what they do inside the 40, down near the 39-yard line. Baron Wortham and Eddie Robinson bring down Stewart, but they have the first down.
Well, they're looking like an NFL offense, and that's been one of their problems. Usually in the first half of the games in the past, the Jaguars have been off. They'd hit a nice play, a pass play once in a while. They'd have a nice run once in a while, but they couldn't establish anything. What we've seen today in this first half, they've gone out there and they've kind of picked up where they left off that second half against Green Bay last week.
Yeah, they're putting some drives together. This is a good one. Stewart again. Turns it into a short gain inside the 40 near the 39-yard line. Ray Childress blew through there, and that's what interrupted the play and forced Stewart to kind of wait.
Yeah, Childress did not make the tackle, but he certainly was the one that blew that play up. He took his lineman and drove him back. Watch him here in the center of your screen. He's going to come up on Dave Weidel, the center, and just drive him off the line of scrimmage, actually off the screen too. But it was the running back ran right into the back of his own lineman, and basically blew up the rhythm of that play.
So they lose one. Second down at 11. Desmond Howard, and they had the left tackle. Baselli moved. He jumped out a half count early. Jerry Mark Bright will document that penalty. Ball start.
Ball start. Number 71, offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That kid right there is serious about being a great left tackle in the NFL.
Well, he stepped in last week in his first time on the field up against Sean Jones and did well. You know, Sean Jones did not have a sack the whole day, so they felt that it was a very good start for him. This will be, today is his first start. They have incredible hope. I mean, this guy was gigantic. Remember yesterday we were watching him? Yeah. He's ducking, going under doorways, he's turning sideways so he doesn't get stuck in there. Amazing how big this guy is.
The penalty makes it second down at 16. Burline, and Desmond Howard dropped it at the 39. And we have a little extra action going down. Wydell got involved in a fracas downfield as the center was downfield and reacted to something by one of the Oilers, and a flag goes down. It might have been with Childress, as the two of them might have gotten wrapped up and grabbed each other's face masks. But a flag did go down after the play and downfield, too, on the play.
Well, if it's an offensive and a defensive lineman in an altercation, it's usually the offensive lineman's fault. Sorry, partial.
We have a personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 79, defense, after the pass was incompleted. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Oh, they didn't get Wydell. They just got Childress.
As a defensive player, one of the things that happens is that you start getting into these confrontations with an offensive lineman. The offensive lineman will hold you, get into your face, grab your mask, do something to frustrate you. The ref doesn't see that. All the ref sees is your frustration coming out and your retaliation against guys. Believe me, I played against Dave Wydell enough to know that he will frustrate you. Him and his brother used to double team me, and I'd come up swinging all the time. Referees are looking at me going, goalie, go sit down for a while, cool off.
Bob speaks of the brother Doug Wydell. Dave Wydell here with Jacksonville. That's a first down now after that penalty on Ray Childress. And he goes to the sideline to cool off. Burline with all the time in the world throws for his tight end, Griffith, and it's incomplete. Eddie Robinson was behind Rich Griffith as Burline missed on that pass.
Well, good coverage by Robinson. You see everything happening right in the middle of the screen. Robinson is going to make the break over and just step in front. Burline just basically tried. He knew he was covered. He knew that Robinson was on him, but a good quarterback can lay the ball away from the side of the coverage man and at least get the completion. Maybe not an extra run, but get the completion.
3:20 to go in the half. Jacksonville by 7, 10-3. Montgomery got into the backfield. There's a flag thrown as Stewart runs it down to the 26-yard line. Could be a hold as they tried to block on that corner to get Stewart around the corner.
All I know is the Jaguar tight end, Craig Keith, had somebody flat on his back. That's not something you normally see without a penalty flag.
It is holding. It is on Jacksonville.
Holding, number 88, offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
You know, these tight ends are lined up, and you can see them at the left side and center of the screen. They're lined up against some of these big, strong backers or defensive ends. You see him there, he's just going to pancake.
Yes, he did. That's
number 58, Joe Bowden, and just took him down. You know, they really feel outmatched. They're not as, well, a lot of them are starting to get bigger, but in the past, they just haven't been big enough to physically compete with some of the strength of these defensive ends or outside linebackers.
It's a crazy drive. The Childress penalty, now the holding call. Anyway, to sort it out for you, they're at the Houston 40, second down and 20. Shotgun for Burline. Blitz from the outside. He gets rid of it. And Willie Jackson tries to stretch and get the ball at the 18-yard line. The Jaguar coaching staff is screaming that Lewis was holding on him down the field and should have had a flag on him.
Well, Burline, the good thing for the Jaguars is Burline is up. Boy, did he catch a shot from Robinson in a corner, and he also got a lot of pressure up on the inside. They really, in order to have a good pass rush now, you watch Glenn Montgomery working on the inside, Eddie Robinson coming from the outside. Burline had nowhere to go. He likes to throw from a pocket, but not a pocket that small.
It's 3rd and 20. 2:46 to go in the half. get some movement off the right side. DeMarco, the right tackle, 73, hopped out early. And now Wydell down on the field just got pushing and shoving with Darrell Lewis, too. Wydell is hot. Bob, you're right about
start prior to the snap. Number 73, offense.
That's the
5-yard penalty, third down.
That's the other rookie tackle. There's Boselli and there's DeMarco out on the right side.
Yeah, but Wydell gets cranky. He stays cranky for the rest of the game. We can see 73, the right-hand side of your screen, just gets a little bit of a jump on the play. But, you know, the Jaguars really like these guys. Boselli on one side and DeMarco on the other side. They feel these guys have great talent. They've got great side and good footwork. And they just feel that for an offense to work, they're going to have to build a foundation around two strong offensive tackles who are going to be there for a long time.
Now what do you do here? 3rd and 25. He pumps is what he does. He runs, and he runs into the pack and is down at the 48-yard line. As Canavis McGee got him. He's saying, come on.
Well, you know, Jim, what they told us, in the first game, the Oilers had been bringing safeties quite a bit and doing a lot of blitzing. But the Oilers' defensive coaching staff and players all told us that they would more like to this week to go with a 4-man rush. They feel that if they go with a 4-man rush versus a blitz, the quarterback is going to be more likely to sit back and take the time in the pocket, and they can go after him with the 4 men up front.
Timeout, 2:14 to go here in the first half. Brian Parker punts with 2:14 to go in the half. Travis Hanna waits for the fair catch. Some people hit him, Bob. There was some contact there, and there are no flags. They're saying, I guess, that he ran right into him.
Right, he was moving forward, and I think those guys try to pull off. And
there's a flag down anyway, back at the 45-yard line. Travis Hanna telling Severin, the other wide receiver, I was waving my hand.
Holding on number 51, defense. Before the ball was kicked. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Oh, boy, how about that? Wow. Talk about a bad penalty called on Houston. I mean, they have committed some no-brainers here today, and this one will fall into that category. The penalty call goes against Lemansky Hall. It's only 5 yards, but with that penalty, as Jerry Markbright just told you, they give Jacksonville a first down.
Well, the punt return team, what their job is not only to try and get in there and get in the punter's face to kind of throw him off, but it's also to impede the progress of the Jacksonville coverage team, to slow them down from getting downfield. If you can slow them down, then they can't get down and make a tackle. A lot of guys get locked up in there who aren't used to blocking. Defensive players who aren't used to blocking and holding a guy in position have a tendency sometimes to grab on.
Now with 2:06 to go from the first half, Jacksonville looks like they'll get the last chance to score points before the end of the first half, already leading in the game 10-3.
The Blues are breaking out here.
Erline to the middle. And the catch is made by his tight end, who fumbles the ball. Ball is loose, still loose. Big pile. And there's a flag down. The Oilers are all pointing that they have it. The catch was made by the tight end, Craig Keith. The ball bleeds out of there. But we have a lot of business to decide before this play is final.
They might as well just forget about this big pile up at the end, because Ray Childress came in working against Dave Wydell again and got a shot on Steve Berline, which drew a flag.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 79, defense.
You're right on it, Robert.
15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, at the end of the play, there was 3 people left in the backfield. Steve Berline pointing, and you're going to see Childress coming in way late. I mean, look at the ball had been thrown 3 steps ago, and Childress, I mean, just blatantly hit him in the chest and drove him down.
Bob, what is he thinking? I'll get your comment when we come back. 2 minutes to go. Ray Childress needs to take a powder. He's committed 30 yards in penalties. 2 personal foul calls against the 11-year veteran Childress. And he gives them a first down inside the 30 at the 29-yard line.
That little rest on the sidelines where he's supposed to regroup, I don't think was long enough.
First down Jacksonville, minute 53 to go in the half. They lead McGee is pointing to us that Houston has it. Houston ball. Oilers got it. Darrell Lewis, I believe, is the man, 29, underneath Stewart, that pulled it out.
What a shot by Ray Childress. Now talk about a guy trying to get a reprieve. He slanted around, just got a nice opening there, and what a hit. Knocked the ball out with his hand. Great hit on the back. But Ray trying to single-handedly get himself a reprieve for the 2 personal fouls, and Chris Dishman saying, okay, you're back.
Stewart had the ball, and the hard part about it was that he knew the ball was over by his left ear. But
Right, he just couldn't reach for it.
Yeah,
but I tell you what, Ray did a nice job, and it's a one-gap defense where they like to slash and hit those gaps. Ray obviously fired up from the preceding plays, but a nice hit.
This has been a crazy minute of football, hasn't it? Now Houston has the ball back as Jacksonville gives it right back to them. Chandler stumbles going back. Sets up a screen. You have another drop. Rodney Thomas's second drop of the day. It stops the clock, and that's the only good thing that happens there with 1:39 to go.
No, I don't get that. How can you run a screen pass against a 3-man rush? First of all, you've got this offensive line. Just see Chandler's reaction after that drop. You got an offensive line working against 3 defensive guys. They're not going to get the penetration that you need to drop that ball off for a middle screen.
Thomas having a rough first half, although the last time the Oilers had the ball, his running game was being straightened out, but his receiving has left something to be desired. Nice job to the sideline here, to the near side. It's caught by Chris Sanders, his first catch of the day. Mr. Big Play. This kid averages, so far this season, over 35 yards a catch.
And he's working up against Vinnie Clark, and Vinnie definitely respects his speed. Sanders gets him to turn his hips and then makes the comeback. Great positioning on the sidelines to stop the clock.
That's Ohio State against Ohio State on that play. Clark out of Columbus, and so is Sanders.
I'm from Notre Dame. I had to watch that game yesterday. Let's not talk about schools anymore.
A minute 34 to go in the half. Third down and short. They got to get the first down here. Hold on to the football. Marion Butts. Oh, it's bowled over a tackler and should have it to the 40. That's a pancake on the other side.
Oh, I'm telling you. I remember that.
Houston calls a timeout with 1:27 left to go here in the first half. They're down a touchdown. You're watching the NFL on NBC. 1:27 to go here in the first half. Now, you talk about a loud first down. Watch and listen. Marion Butts going on this carry.
Yeah, you want to see, this is exactly why the Houston Oilers brought Marion Butts in. He just puts his shoulder down and buries McManus.
First down at the 40. Chandler going long for Derek Russell. Incomplete. Harry Poland lunges out to try and pick off the pass to at the 22-yard line.
I don't know, Jim. Chris Chandler does not seem settled in the backfield. He's kind of slapping the ball with his other hand. His feet are a little bit happy moving around. It's like he's just scanning the field. He doesn't seem comfortable reading the progression of the receivers. Finally, he saw Russell open and just at the last second tried to get it to him, just overthrew it.
It's second down. A lot of time left, 1:21, but they only have one timeout left. The Oilers. Blitz coming by Jacksonville. It is picked up, and the ball is caught by Hayward Jeffries. He's into the Oiler bench at the 48-yard line. Covered by Dave Thomas of the Jaguars.
Well, we talked before about that offensive line really coming together. They had some problems early, but you could see there in that blitz pickup, they've really regrouped and they know what they're doing. The safeties who were blitzing pretty much halfway through the blitz kind of pulled up. They didn't really hit as hard as they should. You see a 295, 300-pound offensive lineman standing there, and you weigh 185. You pretty much put the brakes on.
Todd McNair is in the backfield now, along with Rodney Thomas. No Marion Butts on third down and short. McNair, a rare run for him, will get the first down to the 48. He's in there for his hands. He's normally a receiving back, and he gets is running. They only have one timeout left. Remember, they blew really one timeout setting up that punt that eventually they held on and gave the ball back over to Jacksonville. Chandler, good ball, going deep. Oh, the lunge and trying to pull it down was Chris Sanders. A pretty play, and it was just a half a yard too long.
Well, I don't know. I think if that was last week, he would have had that. The things were just clicking. Here they're just a little bit off, but great protection up front initially. Just totally stopping that rush. Chandler with a nice throw. Just a little bit long. Oh, great effort by Chris Chandler. You know what? You love to see that in a young guy, to know that he's going to go out there and he's going to sell out on every play.
Second down, they are at the 48 of Jacksonville. Chandler works the short game now, and the catch is made by Travis Hanna. Hanna is inside the 45, and they have to hurry now. Only one timeout left for the Oilers. 39 seconds in running here in the first half. They got a first down on the play at the Jacksonville 38-yard line. Chandler, short. Thomas can't get out of bounds. Well read by Mickey Washington. Now they got to burn the timeout. They'll be out of timeouts with 23 seconds remaining in the first half.
Well, in the previous play, you know, they know with the clock, you know, limited timeouts left, they got to drop the ball to the outside. They have the receiver get out of bounds. So they took a chance and they threw it to the inside, left the clock running. This time it was just, they dropped the ball off to Thomas just a little early. He didn't have the time or the room with the defenders coming to get out of bounds.
Now coming up at halftime, the Domino's halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Mike Ditka, Joe Gibbs. They'll bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights from week number 5. And you wonder, Bob, if week number 5 is going to give us a win by an expansion team. Carolina already lost today, but right here we've got the story. Jacksonville is in the lead.
Well, week 5 has been 4 and 5. You've seen some changing fortunes. The 49ers lost last week. The Dallas Cowboys losing today. Now maybe the upsurgence of some of the, which I've always felt in this preseason, these young expansion teams, because of free agency, had a jump on any previous expansion team because they were able to get a lot more talent into the roster. But the thing we found out is that unless these talented players get a chance to work together and gel, they're still not effective.
Second down and 10. They're out of timeouts. 23 seconds to go in the half. Derek Russell in motion. Chandler across the middle. Not much to the 35-yard line. Rodney Thomas catches the ball. They got to get up to the line of scrimmage, I would think, and throw one right down into the carpet. The wide receivers streak back. That's what he does. 8 seconds to go in the half, but now what do you do? Del Greco is going to come out, and this will be a shot. See that timeout, Bob, on that punt with 2:14 to go in the half, and then when Lemansky Hall on the subsequent punt got called for holding, Houston using that timeout, I mean, that really hurt them.
Well, they used that punt to save themselves 14 seconds. Now, if they're able to get in and then do some clock control, some time management, they wouldn't have needed it. There really was a waste of a timeout.
53-yard field goal attempt for Al Del Greco. Plenty on it. It's good. For Al Del Greco, and an up to spare makes it a 10-6 ball game. It was kind of a crazy way to get down the field, but they get the field goal. Fisher really pumped up when Del Greco got it through.
Well, regardless of what the team is doing, he knows that the points are the bottom line. Jeff Fisher is definitely one of those excitable types. Let you know what he's feeling right away.
See, Bob, Disco is back.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, that outfit you wore last night. See, it is back.
Okay, thanks.
Disco's coming back. 10-6 in really kind of a strange final 2 minutes of this first half. Ray Childress goes off and has 2 personal foul penalties. Houston gets called for a penalty on a punt coverage on a holding call that gave the ball back to Jacksonville. Jacksonville gets it back and fumbles. The Oilers have really very little to do as far as timeouts are concerned. And see, Tom Coughlin, who said yesterday and made it very well known, I am not a patient man. I'm sure that steams him a little bit that they gave up that 3 points there.
But it's amazing. The guy has been struggling all these weeks now just to try to get anything going. Finally gets a good offense and a very good defensive performance so far from his team, and he's still not satisfied.
Willie Jackson and Randy Jordan are back deep. Corral Del Greco's kick, only 3 seconds to go in the half. They'll have like a squib kick up the middle, and Houston will recover it. Darrell Lewis picks it up. Where's the Stanford band when you need them? Okay, everybody's heading off the field, and they are wondering if he kicked it far enough. Why did they blow the play dead, Bob? Are they saying that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But everybody's heading to the locker room.
I don't understand why they blew the play dead. It looked like it was okay. Jacksonville hit the ball, and then they went right into the arms of Darrell Lewis, and he was running with it, and he was just about ready to pitch it back to some people. Jerry Markwright, hit your mic. He's laughing and explain this. Is that just the end of the half or what? I guess it is. Teams are gone, boys. Jacksonville leads 10-6, and now let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York for the Domino's NFL on NBC halftime report. And he's got his tight end, rip it out to the 40-yard line, and that will be a first down. He's brought down by Baron Wortham.
I asked him yesterday about this offense, Steve Berline, about this offense. He said, well, the passing game has its roots and its principles in the run and shoot. I don't see it. I see more of a ball control passing game. He's dumping the ball off. Sure, he's got some receivers that he likes to throw deep to, but he really is getting a lot of work out of his tight end.
Your first play of the second half, the first down. Jay Maston, former Oiler. James Stewart in the backfield. This is Maston's carry. And he brings it down into Houston territory, slipping off tacklers. And he's down to the Oiler 48-yard line, and another first down for the Jaguars.
Well, Maston's one of these guys that came from the Oilers and is making a return home here. You're just going to see a draw play to the fullback. Don't you love the way they run? You can tell they're fullbacks. They run with 2 hands covering the ball. They don't get to carry that very often, and they want to make sure they don't drop it.
He's got 2 strands of tape on every finger. So hold on to that football. First and 10 at the Oiler 48-yard line as the Jaguars are on the move and in the lead 10-6. They go back to Maston, and he's down to the 42-yard line. A good run on first down.
Well, they know that they can't allow this defense of the Houston Oilers to react. You look at the way they're hitting this line very quickly. They're quick hitting. The draw play obviously was an exception, but here a very quick hitting play, kind of catching this defensive line off a little bit. You give these guys too much time to react, and they're going to shut you down.
6 yards on that first down run by Maston. Second down for the Jaguars. Howard again in motion. Berline getting a blitz. Rolls away from it. Gonna throw it away. He didn't get it off. And the Oilers dump on the ball. And it could be Houston ball at the 43. Or will they rule it an incomplete pass? No, it's Oiler ball. He was trying to throw it just away, but he kind of had it hit his shoulder pads on the way up and spurted out.
Yeah, the Jag offensive line picked up that blitz, but I'll tell you what, the pursuit that came after it was incredible. They had Wortham, they had Childress, they had everybody just chasing him down. He had nowhere to go and just dropped the ball.
Houston gets a big turnover, and they now can take the lead when we come back. After the Steve Berline fumble, recovered by linebacker Baron Wortham of the Oilers, Houston gets the ball at the Jacksonville 43-yard line, down by 4 in the game, 10-6. Rodney Thomas gets the 41. be 2nd down and 8. Tackle made by Kelvin Pritchett for Jacksonville.
Pritchett's a big guy that they like working inside. They like his work against the run. 6'3", 290 pounds. But let's take another look at that fumble real quick if we can. Oh, maybe after. Yeah, here. Let's see. Now, I'll stop short of calling this fear of being chased by all these guys, but it definitely was a mishandling of the ball, trying to shovel it out of bounds, maybe get an incomplete pass.
2nd down and 8 count. Long call at the line of scrimmage with McNair going in motion, and that's who he's going to throw to. And Chandler's got him. Good spin. Gets away from a Mickey Washington tackle, and up near a 1st down inside the 35-yard line.
Great move by McNair. He got out there wide open to catch that pass, but 2 guys closing in on him to be able to make those moves. Little spin move to get out of there, and you got a little nick coming off there.
So limping on the left leg. He also got belted earlier in the game and hurt his rib.
Nice little spin move there. Washington trying to get just not a clean tackle at all.
It's 3rd down, 1 yard to go for the Oilers to pick up a 1st down. They need to get to the 33. They're at the 34. Chandler, short, and caught. Travis Hanna, that's a 1st down to the 25 of Jacksonville. Dave Thomas, 41 on the coverage for the Jaguars, but that was just a quick play, and it's going to be, very tough to stop that kind of pass.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you've got 1 yard to go for a 1st down, Dave Thomas is sitting about 15 yards deep at the snap, about 12 yards deep at the snap. And then on the snap of the ball, he dropped even farther, just dropping back into the zone. I mean, that was a gimme.
They only needed 1. They ended up with 9 down to the 25-yard line. The Oilers looking to take the lead after the Berline fumble. Handed the ball back to them. And Butts turns the corner, but the Jaguars were out there in big numbers to really turn that play. They'll stop him for virtually no gain at all. It will be 2nd down and 10.
You know, this Jacksonville defense, very good pursuit. Watch him just move here. Good control on the line of scrimmage. The linebackers flowing well, controlling the guys. They are the 2nd youngest defense in the NFL, and they are the least experienced defense in the NFL. Led there by middle linebacker Keith Gilganius.
2nd down and 10. No gain for Butts. And on 2nd down, Chandler pulls it back down, throws, and it's incomplete. And that's Rodney Thomas. And if you're going to call that one a drop, and maybe we take a look at it again and see if it was catchable, that would be his 3rd of the day.
Yeah, he a lot of for a good receiver, you've got to be able to react when the ball's thrown to you and grab it wherever it may be. It was kind of thrown a little bit away from him, but a guy who is a receiver who catches the ball a lot is going to make plays like that. But this falls into that same category which they've had in the first 3 weeks of the season, a lot of drop passes.
And 3 today, and they all belong to him, Rodney Thomas, I'm afraid. 3rd down and 10. Every time it seems the Oilers are ready to move, they do something to stop themselves. Let's see if they can pick it up here. The catch is made inside the 15-yard line, and it's close to a 1st down. That's a new player, Dennis Lundy, who has just been brought onto the roster off the practice squad. He's out of Northwestern, and he makes the catch and gets the 1st down. And is he happy to be there?
Well, we didn't expect to see him that much. They're bringing him back from the practice squad. Just a little crossing route between the backers, and you just see after the play, more so than during the play, very excited not only to get in there. Look at him on the sideline. I want to go back. I want to go back. Hey, this is easy.
1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Wycheck is in motion. Usually when he runs in motion, they run, and they run to his side, and that didn't work at all. And busting through is Jeff Lageman, who's been a load for anyone to handle. Hopkins has been having a tough time handling him all day, and he's in the backfield again.
He really is, and he is such, it's not that even so much that he's that strong, but look at the body control. He just makes a move on there, little swim move to the inside, and a great shot on Thomas. He is strong, he's got control, he's got leverage, and, we asked him why he made the move from the Jets. He goes, you know what, 4 head coaches in 7 years, there was just no consistency there. He goes, the game of football just wasn't exciting. I had to get out.
He throws Thomas for a 3-yard loss. 2nd down and 13. Back to the 18-yard line. Chandler up high, incomplete. Intended for Derek Rush. on the play by Vinnie Clark. Ball might goes off the fingers of Russell. Tomorrow, Bob, I'm thinking as I watch Lageman's pursuit all day long and getting by Hopkins, if Brad Hopkins is a little late for the film meeting, you'll understand. He doesn't want to see it.
He doesn't want to show up. Yeah, Lageman just really, he's a guy that loves playing the game, and he lost the excitement up in the Jets. They weren't having success. They kept switching coaches. He just felt that there was no consistency with that organization. He figured here it would be a new faces, a new place in Jacksonville. Maybe he could get that excitement back. And he looks like he's playing, like he's excited, and like he's having fun again.
Big play, 3rd down, 13. Chandler, end zone, touchdown! He finally caught it, Rodney Thomas. After 3 drops, Thomas catches a real tough ball to catch out over the middle.
And most of these, to give him a little bit of credit, most of these throws that he has been dropping, he's had to lay out for a little bit. So they haven't been the easiest in the world. A few plays back, we saw the little dump pass that he dropped. This one, right down the pipe, in the end zone. Great reception.
First lead of the day for the Oilers. Del Greco for the point after. It's good. It all turns around on a Jacksonville turnover. Berline's fumble recovered. The Oilers take it down and go in for the touchdown, and they lead by 3.
Yeah, our cabin is pretty remote, and you really have to be able to depend on your tools.
You can bet this guy.
Rodney Thomas, the rookie from Texas A&M, receiving congratulations on the Oilers bench after he made a nice catch for the touchdown pass thrown by Chris Chandler. And Houston, which trailed 10-0 early against Jacksonville, now leads 13-10 as you look at the scoring drive, and they take off 4:16 off the clock. Al Del Greco kicks to Jimmy Smith, who takes it at his own 2 for the Jaguars. Hit out over the 25 near the 28-yard line. Bob, let's set up the touchdown pass from Chandler to Thomas.
Right, you see Rodney Thomas there on the right side of your screen. He just went off. He's just going straight up the field, runs right past Keith Gogenius. Why there were no safeties back there to back Gogenius up, I have no idea. But Chris Chandler obviously very excited to get down to drive the ball and get the points. He came off that last week's game feeling so excited, so good about himself, but really a rough start for him today.
First time today that Jacksonville has trailed. Let's see how they react to that. Stewart carries. He's out to the 32. He's ball. Oilers say they have it. Jacksonville is saying the play had ended and he was down.
And it looked like he was down when the ball popped out.
All right, so Jeff Fisher is saying that ball is out. Tom Coughlin is taking a deep breath on the other sideline, and he has to get his team under control now. Things are starting to get a little bit unraveled.
Right, it's getting a little hairy for them, but they have showed that they've really come a long way maturity-wise, that they've been able to work together as a team. If they can just get away from this feeling of, oh no, here we go again.
Here we go again, right?
Which can be so infectious and so dangerous for a team.
It is 2nd and 7. Stewart getting 3 after he put the ball on the ground. Short drop, Berline throws. It is caught, and it is Jackson making the catch. Let's go to New York right now and check in with Greg Gumbel for some more action on this Sunday.
All right, Jim, at Kingdome in Seattle, Chris Warren from 4 yards out registers his 2nd touchdown of the day. The Seahawks looking to break a 5-game losing streak against the Denver Broncos. It's 17-0 Seattle in the 3rd. Jim?
And well on their way to doing that, Greg. Ball is out at the 37-yard line now for Jacksonville. 3rd down and 2 to keep the drive going. They give it to Stewart. He will not get the first down. He'll lose yardage back to the 35-yard line. The fumble is in there along with Ray Childress. Wortham is very, very excited.
Look at him. Now, Baron Wortham is a guy who really has been called upon to step up and make some big plays. You're going to see a middle linebacker. He's just going to come up and fill hard. In this one-gap defense, the linemen, they hit the gaps. There's going to be an open gap that the linebacker is responsible for. You've got to come up, and they've got to come up and fill it hard.
Mel Gray is back after getting a finger in the eye in the first half. He had ice on it for the remainder of the half, but he's back in there right now, ready to take the Barker punt. Gray, fair catch at the 18-yard line. That's where Houston will begin. 5:56 to go here in the third quarter in the Astrodome. Oilers in the lead. This is the NFL on NBC. Here's the story in the Astrodome. The Oilers lead over Jacksonville by 3, but on this final Sunday of Major League Baseball's regular season, the Houston Astros in Chicago at Wrigley did what they had to do today. They won, keeping their wild card hopes alive in the National League, but Colorado did what they had to do also. And the expansion team, only 3 years old, the Colorado Rockies are the wild card team in the National League as they win their game, and the Astros finish out of the hunt. That's the fastest that an expansion team in Major League Baseball has ever made it to postseason play in their third year. Here's Chris Chandler. It hit the official's head. Oh, I have seen it all, Bob. It hit the official in the head.
And Mike Rowan, tight end for the Houston Oilers, picked it up. And they're calling it a tipped ball.
Yes, it was a tipped ball. Terry Jerky, it went off of his head and then went to Michael Rowan.
Oh, watch, he said a quick shot right over the middle, hit the ref right in the head. But as we learned from the Kansas City Chiefs LA Raider game a couple weeks ago, the referee is a part of the field.
Give Michael Rowan a catch. Give the umpire an assist. Now they set that middle screen up. Rodney Thomas, he comes out of the traffic jam and brings it out to the 27. Bob, I didn't think that play had a prayer. There was just too much traffic there, and yet number 20 comes squirting out.
I mean, this guy has gone from the beginning of this game being a little bit tentative, taking the ball deep in the backfield, a little leery about hitting the line of scrimmage, to catching a ball in the middle of 4 or 5 defenders and just fighting his way out of it. He is running hard, he is running with confidence, and he is going to be a big part of this Oiler team from the rest of this game and this season.
We get a break right now on 3rd down and 2. Sure, Butts is
take him out right after I talk about it.
I think they wanted to give you some room and give him a nice close-up shot over on the sideline for you. Butts is back into the lineup, and Marion Butts now has become the short yardage guy for the Oilers. This is, he just signed with Houston. The Oilers just used a timeout, but he just signed with Houston on Thursday. Couldn't get their play in. That's amazing. So they burn a timeout, leading by 3. We'll be right back. The NFL on NBC.
Jerry, we're about to meet Freddie Fazbear.
Well, Jacksonville fans, I'm sure, don't like this sight. They're working on the leg of Tony Boselli, but it looks like they were just retaping an ankle. You know, nothing to do with the knee.
Also, Jim, his big toe was taped. They may have been trying to give it a little extra support. Maybe he's developed a little bit of a turf toe, a little soreness in the big toe, which can be very debilitating for a player.
After that timeout, which wasn't very well used, it's 3rd down and 2. Chandler bootlegs it out of there. Going to run, and behind the block, he'll get the first down, I believe, out over to the 30-yard line. The block was given to him by Kevin Donnelly, 77, as he ran right behind him.
And Wycheck was pretty much right in front of him, waiting for him to toss the ball. Chandler just saying, you know what, I'm going to get it myself.
Well, Todd McNair, you saw him limp off with his left leg, and he is coming back now towards the Oiler bench. And they'll drop him back over there. You wonder if he's okay while they're driving him back.
They want to get him back in a hurry so they can utilize him in this offense.
He has a foot sprain, so I don't know if he's going to be back in the game. It's a first down for the Oilers at their own 30-yard line. Chandler waits. That's a deflected pass headed for Derek Russell, and it's incomplete at the 44-yard line.
Man, that was scary. Reggie Clark, Mickey Washington, that ball was just kind of floating after deflection. They were going after that ball.
Looks like Corey Mayfield was the defensive lineman that batted the ball or got a finger on it and took the steam out of the pass. We'll get a better look right here.
Mayfield is right there, pretty much pushing up against Bruce Matthews there to the center. Yep. Corey Mayfield getting a deflection. They tell you, if you can't get in and get to that quarterback, get the hands up, baby.
3:31 to go in the quarter. The give goes to Rodney Thomas. Hurdles the tackler. That can be dangerous, Rodney. You'll learn that for your years in the NFL as he goes out to the 37-yard line. Tackled by Mickey Washington.
Well, you know, we've got to look at the, we talked earlier about this, the upcomings of that offensive line for the Oilers. They, with holdouts in the preseason, with injuries in the preseason, it took them a while for those guys to get together. They are now, and I think that they start to develop some confidence when they know that there's a running back behind them that is just going to come out and attack that line of scrimmage. If he's going to hit it quick, they know they don't have to hold that block for that long.
3rd down and 3, all-out blitz. Chandler throws, it's caught by Thomas. He gets tackled by the collar, but not in time. Harry Colin ripped him down, but he will get enough for the first down. Boy, they were coming from every corner were the Jaguars.
Well, Thomas is just becoming a one-man offense right here. Thomas is sitting out in the slot, just a quick out. Chandler picking up the blitz, going to his hot receiver, Rodney Thomas. Good pressure, hit by Reggie Clark, blitzing in. Rodney Thomas pretty much doing everything with this Houston offense right now.
You know, Bob, I get the feeling right now that Jacksonville needs to make a play in this game pretty soon. Russell goes in motion. Chandler getting away from the Loggeman rush, throws it out to Michael Roan, and Roan is out over the 45 to the 46-yard line. Don't you get that feeling that they're kind of, letting some opportunities go by the boards here?
Right, and you know what? Besides the blitz, their defense is being set up where there's a lot of receivers that are pretty much being left open. You watch Chandler back there, he's scanning the field from left all the way across to the right. I mean, he started off looking to his left, ended up throwing to Roan on the right sideline. So, he's got time to throw back there, and he's finding these guys in the short possession type passes.
2nd down and 5. Chandler looking at a lot of Jaguars up in the line of scrimmage now defensively, and I think that's why he's getting on. Throws, the catch, but immediately brought down by Mickey Washington is Derek Russell. Russell's one of those receivers, though, if you can give him the ball, he gets a lot of yardage after he makes the catch, but Mickey Washington with the sure tackle there made the stop.
Defensively, these guys aren't, they haven't given up. They're still playing good, solid defense, but I don't think they're playing with the intensity that they played with early on. When you're an expansion team, you haven't won, all of a sudden you're ahead, everything feels good. But losing is contagious, and we talked about this before. You can get into that feeling of like, oh no, here we go again. It's happened before, it's happening again.
Having trouble once again getting this play off. Play clock down to 3 as Rodney Thomas couldn't get to the right spot. He did in time. Loggeman again gets pushed away, which will allow Chandler to slide safely for a first down away from the hit of Tom McManus, and they're at the Jacksonville 45 first down.
Good rush here. Now, look at him. He's going to throw to Thomas here out in the flat, but just basically pulled it in real quick. And, he didn't take too much time in deciding that he was going to be the ball carrier on this one.
First down again for the Oilers. Driving again now into Jacksonville territory at the 45. 20 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter, and time is called right now. And we will step out and be back. 13-10 the score. The Oilers in the lead. This is the NFL on NBC. Oilers in the lead here in the Astrodome. Hey, tonight it's must-see TV NBC Sunday. Brand new night of comedy. First at 7, 6 Central, Brotherly Love and Minor Adjustments. Then at 8, 7 Central, it's Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt starring in the all-new Mad About You, followed by Hope and Gloria. So a new night of must-see TV comedy, NBC tonight. 16 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Houston has owned the ball here in the 3rd quarter. They've had it 10 minutes and 22 seconds. Jacksonville, 4.5 minutes. And really, if you go back to the Steve Berline fumble, which then subsequently set up the Oiler touchdown, that's been the big play in this quarter that has turned the game around. 1st and 10, it's at the 45 of Jacksonville. Chandler to Rodney Thomas. Sneaks behind some blockers to the right side. Gogenius brings him down, and that should be the final play of quarter number 3. Jacksonville still looking for their first win, and they are in position to get it. Though they've lost the lead, they are down by 3 to the Oilers. As we'll come back with the 4th quarter. This is the NFL on NBC.
NFL is prohibited.
Back in Houston, fourth quarter getting set to go. Jacksonville jumped out to the 10-0 lead. Del Greco kicked 2 field goals in the second. Chandler threw to Rodney Thomas here in the third. And now in the fourth quarter, 13-10 Houston, trying to get to 3-2 in the season. Chandler on second down, throws long, trying to come back and get the ball to Sanders. They're going to throw the flag. They got him. They got Vinnie Clark on the interception, and I think they got him because he didn't look back for the ball, Bob.
Yeah, because the ball actually wasn't really there to be caught by Sanders, and but Clark was not even looking.
Defense. Automatic first down.
Well, this is what Houston been doing, shooting themselves in the foot. Sanders up against Clark, and Vinnie Clark just not looking, wraps his arm around Chris Sanders' waist. I don't care who you are, you're not allowed to do it.
It gives them a first down inside the 20 at the 19-yard line, and it is starting to look like Houston's going to go in again in some fashion, field goal or touchdown, unless the Jacksonville defense can come up with a big play. First down, Chandler, pump fake to the corner of the end zone, and Hayward Jeffries cut towards the post. And it's incomplete.
Well, one of the things that we've seen earlier in this game, you know, they've completed some pretty good, nice, short touch passes. But in the long game, there seems like there isn't a communication between the quarterback and receiver.
And especially between Chandler and Jeffries.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
a couple of times they've really missed on connection.
Right. You know, Jeffries breaking across the middle, Chandler thrown to the sideline. You know, almost intercepted if the DB can catch up to it. Same situation there.
Derek Russell goes in motion. And he throws it out there to Russell, who gets knocked out of bounds by Dave Thomas at the 15-yard line. Pickup of 4 yards. It will be third down and call it 6. So strategy-wise, Bob, Jacksonville got to get off the field defensively. Maybe give up the field goal here.
Right. Well, you know, what they have to do, too, they're going to have to start bringing people. They can't go in there with 4 guys because he's not holding on to the ball that long. You're seeing the short dumps to Rodney Thomas, to Wycheck. You just saw a short pass there. I mean, it's a Derek Russell, and it's become a pattern. They're going to have to get more people in Chandler's face.
3rd and 5. Big play for the Jaguars defensively, down by 3. Chandler. There's the short game, but a good hit by Mickey Washington as he's there to knock the ball loose away from Rodney Thomas. And they do come up with a play that will get them at least settling for a field goal if Del Greco can put it through.
Or if you don't want to blitz them, just have some nice coverage and make a nice hit. Mickey Washington with a real nice play. Now that's what you need out of a cornerback, a guy who can react hard. You're going to see it the left side of your screen. He's just going to come in and make a nice play on the receiver and the ball. You see he gets his hand in front to try and get a hand on the ball to keep it from being completed, make it harder for him to grab onto it.
Del Greco 2 for 2 today. He's hit a 53-yarder. This is a 32-yarder right down the middle. It's good. It's 16-10 Oilers. 14-11 left to go in the fourth quarter. 16-10 Houston in the lead.
Ford introduces the all-new Taurus.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the all-new Ford Taurus, a look you've never seen from a name you know well. By United Airlines and its 55,000 employee owners. Come fly our friendly skies. By Hewlett-Packard Home Printers. Printers so good that your documents will truly come to life. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light.
Welcome back to the Astrodome, everybody. Al Del Greco is set to kick it away to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We didn't get those seats.
Well, we tried, but we got here just a little late yesterday afternoon.
So I think that's a radio promotion out here, and they get those nice recliners, kick back and watch like a good angle or anything.
Jimmy Smith at the 6-yard line. They're down by 6. Smith out of a tackle at the 20 and down to the 21-yard line. Let's go to New York right now. Get some baseball updates with Greg Gumbel.
right, Jim, here's the baseball situation. The Colorado Rockies have beaten the Giants 10-9 and clinched the National League wild card. They opened Tuesday night at home against Atlanta. Seattle lost to Texas 9-3. If California holds on to beat Oakland, there will be a one-game playoff for the American League West title tomorrow in Seattle. Earlier today, the Yankees clinched the American League wild card with a 6-1 win over Toronto. Jim?
Thanks, Greg. 14:02 left to go, fourth quarter. And the expansion Jaguars get their first win. Ball is at the 21-yard line. They are down by 6. 16-10. Berline setting up a screen, and Ray Childress got a finger on it and knocked it down. Down on the field right now is Tony Boselli, I believe. He is. Boselli is down and getting up slowly.
Well, he's pointing. He's definitely nicked.
Flag is down on the play, or let's check.
There is no foul for the ball touching an ineligible receiver. The pass was tipped by a defender.
Good call.
Number 79 tipped the pass. No foul, second down.
Well, Ray Childress trying to make up for some of the earlier transgressions.
And he has.
And he really has.
Yeah.
He's come out and he's played hard. I mean, he's a professional. This guy, you know, we see a couple of personal fouls against him. It's totally out of character for him. He is a true professional in this game. He's played it a long time. Not only is it, you know, he's played a great football game for a long time. So this was totally out of character. You're seeing the real Ray Childress right now.
Steve Berline on second down and 10. He has Maston and Stewart in the backfield. Maston ran the ball a couple of times very well to start off the second half. Desmond Howard in motion. Berline waits, throws. That's going to be picked off by Joe Lewis. And he's down to the 27-yard line. I think he was looking for Desmond Howard, but he wasn't there, and Lewis was. And the turnovers, and 2 now by Berline, have really hurt Jacksonville.
Well, you're seeing Lewis working down the field. Now, he's moving across the middle. The ball was either intended for Willie Jackson or Rich Griffith. One of the two were behind, but it was severely underthrown. Darrell Lewis right there to make the grab. And you know, there's Kevin Gilbride, offensive coordinator, ex of the Houston Oilers, talking to Steve Berline.
First down, Houston leading by 6. The ball is at their Jacksonville 27-yard line. Rodney Thomas struts it to the 19. Boy, he gets those knees up high, Bob, when he's running through that hole. They're up by his neck.
We've said it before. He's running with confidence. Now they're going to run the counter Trey O.T. Look at the backside guard, tackle, and tight end pulling to open up that hole for Thomas. A big play for the Houston Oilers offense. We haven't seen it much today, but it's definitely a more aggressive pass, or a run play. The blocking up front is just going to, with the size of those offensive linemen, just going to rip holes in that line.
He's having a pretty good all-purpose day now, running and catching the ball. He had some drop-itis the first 3 times they threw him, but he has a touchdown catch too. And now the ball comes out. Loose ball as it got knocked down right by the goal line. Carrington is on it. And the Jaguars should have it. Darren Carrington. Who separated Thomas from the football?
I have a feeling it was James Logan. Richie Clark, number 59, coming in the backside, and just when Rodney Thomas went to make the cut to try and find a hole on the backside, Clark just knifed in from the backside with a great hit. I mean, he came unmolested. Nobody sealed the backside, and he just popped him.
The ball flies out 10 yards.
Right, you're going to see Reggie Clark come in from the backside right there. Watch him here. Smack! The ball right on the helmet. That's what projected it out there.
Carrington gets it and smartly gets into that end zone. His momentum took him into the end zone.
Luckily he had momentum.
So the touchback gets them out at the 20. Turnovers now. Jacksonville with 3. Houston with a pair. Yes, they have figured big in the game. and Berline gets a second life after he threw that interception. And they get the ball at the 20. Now, I check it. Brunell is in. Berline's out. So they've switched quarterbacks again, Bob.
I'm telling you, you know what? You can't do it. I'm not the coach, but you can't do it. Steve Berline was having a pretty decent day, a couple of turnovers, but you got to pick a guy. You got to stay with a guy, or you're not going to get any continuity of that offense.
So Mark Brunell, who started last week against Green Bay.
And nothing against Brunell. Brunell's a very, very good quarterback. But one way or another, pick a guy.
Those numbers last week were not good enough to get him to start this week, but now here he is in the fourth. He's a left-hander. As you see, he connects with Willie Jackson, who's being swarmed by the Oilers, but Jackson fights his way out there at first down. Bowden couldn't bring him down. Bowden and Wortham, the two linebackers, had him, and Jackson's not that big, and yet he gets out near the first down, out over the 29-yard line.
And Brunell, he likes throwing to Jackson, but the one thing, and perhaps this is the thinking of Jacksonville at this time, Brunell is a guy who is not going to sit in the pocket. He'll run on his own if he can and pick up some yardage. Maybe they're hoping he'll be able to break a big play by stepping out of the pocket and picking up a first down, where Steve Berline is more of a sit-in-the-pocket type of guy. Perhaps that's their rationale here.
Third down and 1. Houston's going to call a timeout. Defensively, Kenny Davidson calls the timeout. Mark Brunell will get a chance to talk it over. You're watching the NFL on NBC. All right, take a look at the numbers offensively. With Steve Berline through 3 quarters, a drop-off, 97, 36, then 22 in the third. He also fumbled. Then in the fourth, he threw an interception. Then he was lifted, and Mark Brunell is in there now. And he comes up with a big play. That was a Houston timeout defensively. So it's now third down and 1. Brunell has his tight end going in motion. Gives the ball off. I don't think he got there, Bob. Nope, he lost a yard. Ryan Christopherson, who has their touchdown, tried the left side. They didn't get there. Now they're fourth down, and you have to punt.
I mean, Lemansky, Hall, Odie, Harris, everybody was up there. They weren't fooling everything. That was a challenge. That was, we're lining up. Let's go man on man.
Trying to get some life into his team today. They came out a little stale. Jeff Fisher, and even the insertion of Mark Brunell doesn't turn anything any easier for the Jacksonville offense. And now Mel Gray stands back, waiting for the Barker punt. 10:53 to go. Jaguars are still only down by 6, 16 to 10. Good punt by Barker. Let it go! Gray makes the catch and gets hit right on the numbers. There's a loose ball. They're going to rule the play dead. Jordan came down, Randy Jordan, and made the hit, then almost pulled the ball away. So it's Houston ball with 10:40 to go. They lead by 6. Houston has the ball as we come back. 10:40 to go in regulation time. They lead by 6. Jacksonville still in the ballpark, though, trying to get their first win ever. Chris Chandler had a bad first half, but a very good second half, and has his team back in the lead. Threw a touchdown pass to Rodney Thomas in the third quarter. First down, they'd love to work on the clock right here now. Take some time off. It won't happen that way. Thomas barely gets 1, and it will be second down, but they'll run it down a little bit.
Granted, you're going to want to stay on the ground. You're going to want to try and beat out some yardage on the ground or the short passes, but keep the ball in bounds. But that time, you can't change your style of running. You know, the Rodney Thomas we've seen through the second and third quarter, who's just attacking that line of scrimmage, you know, really kind of pussyfooted at the line there. Perhaps they're slanting more guys up front, hitting more of the gaps in the Jacksonville defense to make those open gaps not as available.
There's Wycheck coming down the line in motion. Second down. They're going to throw to him. That's easy. That's just flip it and catch it and get up near a first down, which is what he did. I mean, that's just really a very easy play. Came down the line in motion. He looked back, turned around, and there it was.
And they've done that both ways. They've done it with Wycheck. They've done it with Derek Russell. They've done it with Rodney Thomas. And it's been the same thing, and the Jaguars just haven't adjusted to it. Quick drop, 3 to 5 step drop, and just a quick out. When you're in a zone, all you can do as a defender is react to it. You got a linebacker coming from the inside. You got a cornerback coming back off of the deep coverage. And all you can do is react and try and minimize the yardage.
Well, he did not get the first down. It's third down and 1. And jumping around as Chandler's keeping them up at the line of scrimmage a long time. Marion Butts to the 41. First down. Well, there's a guy that just came in and practiced with them Thursday, Friday, and a walkthrough yesterday.
Well, they said Wednesday he had like 15 to 20 reps because he's had experience with the numbering system it's very similar to San Diego. But here, he's such a big back. Everyone wants to come low. They want to hit him low, but he's high cop one over the top, picking up the extra yardage. But they were interested in him in the preseason, along with Johnny Johnson and some of those guys. But Johnny Johnson, Barry Foster were guys who were just saying, hey, I want big money. We want this. Marion Butts came in there and said, you know what? Thank you for the opportunity. I'm not going to let you down.
Got them the first down. Chandler, again with some happy feet there, throws the ball into a hole at the 45-yard line in the direction of Derek Russell. Mickey Washington was in the vicinity.
I mean, it just looks like he's not settled. And you see it with the great quarterbacks. They sit back there, they seem more assured of themselves in control of their body. He has a tendency to kind of hop his feet a little bit, like he's not sure which way he wants to look at a receiver, which way he wants to throw.
I think if the Oilers get out of this game with a win, they'll feel very fortunate. 8:40 to go. I think Jeff Fisher thought after last weekend in Cincinnati that his team would come out and play very well here today, and they haven't. But they are surviving, leading by 6. And they're taking about 2 minutes off the clock now on this drive. Wide check, get in motion. Jacksonville sending some people, and they got through the people. Rodney Thomas to the 49-yard line. You blitz like that and send a lot of people, and you get through.
That's right. You bring the linebackers up, you bring the safeties up to make the hit, to try and cut down. The advantage is you fill every gap. So supposedly, in theory, he has nowhere to run. But you forget one thing. The offensive linemen are paid to block. Now, if they can force you out of one of those gaps and open the hole, just like I said, Jim, there's no second line of defense to come up and make a hit on the line.
Coming up to 8 minutes to go now in the fourth quarter. And a very important third down and 3 for the Jaguars defensively to come up with a stop. They get the ball back. Chandler dumps it before he gets hit. Thomas has a first down as he snags it and brings it to the 43-yard line. And Mickey Washington, who's been all over the field for Jacksonville, knocks him down.
And Jim, remember in the first half, there was a throw to Rodney Thomas on about the 5-yard line that he dropped. It was the same formation. Rodney Thomas, 2 wide receivers set all in kind of a Hail Mary kind of look. They spread out, one breaks it out, one goes deep in the cross, and Thomas sits. First time he dropped it on about the 5-yard line, that time he makes the play and picks up the first down.
His numbers mounting. You can, on a negative side, say that he also fumbled and he dropped a couple of passes. He has that touchdown catch, though, and now comes out and gets a rest. Here's Marion Butts, and in the backfield, Paul Fraves up to make the tackle for Jacksonville, along with Kelvin Pritchett back at the 45, a loss of about 2.
And Fraves just made a very nice penetration up against number 73, David Williams. He got the shoulder down, just kind of ripped his body through. That's part of the beauty of that attack-style defense where you're hitting the gap. Back when I played, you hit the guy's head up, you're responsible for each gap on either side of the guy that's blocking you. Here, they have one responsibility. They get in there, they get as much penetration as possible, and sometimes they hit the big play.
They have now taken 4 minutes off the clock on this drive that started at their own 25. Second and 11. Runs it to the 40-yard line as he scrambles out of there. He really wanted to throw it and then took it down and ran, and Vinnie Clark comes up from his secondary spot to bring him down.
Well, good awareness. Now, in a pass rush as a defensive line, you can run games, but you have to have somebody up the middle. Look, both defensive tackles were pushed towards us, left the middle of the field wide open. One thing it does, it gives great vision for the quarterback downfield in case there's a receiver open. Secondly, if there isn't a receiver, hey, what are you going to do? Run with it.
Dennis Lundy has now come into the ball game for Houston and is in the backfield. It is third down and 7 with 5:41 to go. Loggeman from the outside. He won't get him, but the Jaguars do as they come in, and Ernie Logan gets the sack of Chris Chandler at a very important important time in the game.
Well, Chris Chandler has been so aware of Jeff Lageman all day long that when he saw him coming up in his face, he turned to run. Ernie Logan right there to make the play. You're going to see Lageman at the bottom of your middle of your screen right there coming into Chandler's face. He sees him. Lay out of here. Boom. Ernie Logan right behind her, waiting to pick up the slack. Brad Hopkins going, why are you running my way? I was blocking him just fine.
You'll see Hopkins has been on Lageman most of the day, and that time he's on Logan and didn't get him. Camarillo is very good at putting the ball out inside the 20. Time is called. Play clock is down, and delay of game against Houston. So they'll go from the 50 back to the 45. I guess giving him a little bit more room to work with. Desmond Howard will be deep for the Jaguars.
I mean, I've known Rich Camarillo back when I first came to the league with the Patriots. My second year there, third year there, they brought him in, and I'm telling you, when he was young, that guy he was kicking 75 yards in the air. It was incredible what he was doing, and he has been playing for a long, long time, still playing very well, very consistent.
It high. It hits and rolls. And they're going to mark it out at the 2-yard line. What a job by Camarillo.
I told you he was good.
An amazing punt by Rich Camarillo. Jacksonville down by 6, 98 yards to go. If Jacksonville's going to get their first win ever in the NFL, they're going to have to go a long way. Why? Because look at the Rich Camarillo punt that was marked out at the 2-yard line, a 53-yard punt. So Mark Brunell, his second series since coming in and relieving Berline, is in his own end zone. He's in trouble in his own end zone. And then dumps it out. And Desmond Howard is down with his feet inbounds out near the first down at the 12-yard line. That play had tragedy written all over it, and maybe the quick feet of Mark Brunell allowed that play to be successful.
Well, he, without a doubt, he had people and had their hands on him. He's looking here to drop back. Anybody's going to be antsy when you're sitting back in the end zone like that, but everybody converging on him, everybody wanting to come up and make a big play, but in wanting to make a big play on him, leave Desmond Howard uncovered.
I got to think, with 4:32 left to go, and you see how far they have to go. Now they're only out at the 12. This has got to be the drive for them. Brunell throws. Nice catch. Pete Mitchell reaches up. He's got the first down at the 15-yard line. They think that he's really a workman type of tight end who has great hands. He's out of Boston College, and he has the first down for the Jaguars.
Well, nothing fancy here. They're going to try and do kind of what the other's been doing. Just a ball control. You're going to see a quick drop. He's dragging across the middle. Short pass, possession type, and just try and pick up the first down. The one thing you're seeing, they're using a lot of two tight ends, putting both tight ends out in pass coverage. You don't normally see that. Normally you'll see one tight end stay in and block.
It is a first down. Brunell back. Throws. Desmond Howard off his fingertips. Darrell Lewis, I think he's got the interception. It bounced up in the air and he picks it off. He gets back up. He's to the 10. He's down inside the 10. Now they're saying no interception. At the 32-yard line is where he picked it off, or at least he thought he picked it off. But now they're saying that when it went up in the air, it came back down and hit turf rather than Lewis's fingers.
Well, to get that kind of a bounce, I would have said that it looked like it would have caught some turf.
The play was ruled incompleted pass. Incomplete.
Oh, boy. Jacksonville living dangerously.
And you'll see it here. Off the hand.
He had the best.
Howard. Let's see if it makes contact with the ground.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't have control. Hit the turf. I'll tell you what, though. Number 67, Jeff Novak, left guard for Jacksonville, got up very slow in that return. Somebody blindsided him. Didn't even catch him when he was going to BC, I think, came in and got a good shot on him. Just totally blindsided him.
3:41 to go. Down by 6. Brunell is back. He's going to get hit, and he's going to get brought down. Eddie Robinson brought him down. There's a flag down on the play, though. DeMarco, the right tackle, is very, very upset that Robinson would come in and make the hit. Let's see what the call is going to be. Are they saying that Jacksonville might have moved on the line?
Ball start, number 73, offense.
That might have been why he was upset.
Right.
Second down.
Well, I think he's getting a little antsy out there. He's got Robinson working. He's got... he's starting to move, and he's just rocking back. He knows that backer's coming. He knows Eddie Robinson's coming. He's rocking back so he can catch an angle on that blitzing Eddie Robinson, but he's been caught on blitz. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's the second time he was caught yesterday, rolling back, trying to get a jump on the defender.
Down at the bottom of your screen right there, 80, Willie Jackson. He's got the speed that could get them a big play, but they haven't been able to get the ball to him but twice today and on fairly short routes. It is second down and 15, 3:35 left.
Well, you have a game like last week, it draws some attention to yourself.
I think they want to put some time back on the clock is what they want.
Thank you.
Yeah, they put 6 seconds back up, 3:41 now left because that play should have been blown dead. Here we go, second and 15. It's a screen pass, and it's incomplete to Lachey Maston. We're going to go to New York right now with Greg Gumbel. Troy Aikman was injured today. Let's check in and see how he is.
Well, Jim, here's how it happened on the opening drive of the Cowboys in the first quarter. Aikman throws and then goes down untouched with a strained right calf muscle. A report unconfirmed as yet by the Cowboys says Aikman will miss 2 to 3 weeks. Dallas lost their first of the season, 27-23 to the Redskins. Jim?
Jim, I've had that injury before. 2 to 3 weeks is very optimistic. There'll be a lot of bleeding in that calf muscle, and for a precision guy like that to push off that leg is going to be very difficult.
Checking off at the line of scrimmage. Play clock is at 5. At 3. Can Brunell get the snap? Yes, it's 3rd and 15. And he squeezes the pass in. It's caught by Jackson, but for a minimal gain, they are still about 11 yards shy of the first down. And they are sending in their punt team with 3:25 left to go. Now, I got to wonder, are they going to get the ball back? Well, is it too early to go to 4 downs here? I know they're parked deep.
Yeah, they've got to punt it. They can't get the ball back. They played well at the end. They started bringing some guys at the end of that last series. Tom Coughlin obviously very upset about the whole situation. A key here, Barker been one of their strong points as a punter for Jacksonville.
Belgray waits, and he'll take it at his 34. He's away from 1, and then finally brought down at the 43-yard line. Houston's mission now with 2:47 left to go in regulation time. 16-10, the Oilers lead. Their job is to kill the clock the rest of the way. Next Sunday, NBC Sports presents another great doubleheader action of NFL play at 12:30 Eastern, NFL Live on NBC. Then future Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana and Super Bowl champion Mike Ditka join host Greg Gumbel and Ahmad Rashad. They get you geared for Week 6 action. Then most of you will see the Vikings and Warren Moon host his whole team, these Oilers. Some of you will see Bill Cowher's Steelers head south to Jacksonville to battle these Jaguars. Others will see the Jets take on the Bills. Then in our late games, most of you will see Dan Marino and the Dolphins host Marshall Faulk and the Colts, while others see the Browns take on the Lions. So check your local listings for the games in your area as Marion Butts carries out to the 46-yard line. Timeout is going to be called by Jacksonville.
Well, Jim, I said that they should punt. They've got to stop the Oilers, but that's not the way to start off and do it. Their last series, the Oilers had the ball. Jacksonville's defense played very well, forcing them to punt the ball, but a bad start.
So it will be second down at 6. They use a 40-second timeout. 2:38 remaining in regulation time. It is 16-10. Houston in the lead. If they can hang on over Tom Coughlin's Jaguars, they'll go to 3-2 and will have won their first game at home this year. Their 2 wins came in Jacksonville and in Cincinnati. Hang on.
Jacksonville has 2 charge timeouts.
Yeah, that was a Jacksonville timeout, and he had charged it to the Oilers. So Jacksonville now has 1 left.
Yeah, Jim, we go back to that punt. Do they punt on that 4th down? They were so far down in their own territory, they had to take the chance of getting it to the Oilers, stopping them on 3, and getting the ball back.
Well, I think what he is steamed about right now is that play. There was no way that play was even close to the first down stick. I mean, if you've decided you're not going to go on 4th down, at least on 3rd down, you better get it up close next to that first down mark.
Right, he picked up the 5 that they lost on the offsides on the motion, but the guy he threw it to, there were 2 defenders right there. So it wasn't like he was going to beat those 2 and run for the first down.
Rodney Thomas on the carry.
Jackson,
it's a fumble. Loses the ball, and the Jaguars get it. Unbelievable. Thomas's 2nd fumble of the game. We haven't had the official call yet. Tom Coughlin saying, hey, don't wait for them to call it. Just get out there, offense, and get the ball.
The Jaguars are definitely selling it, that's for sure.
Jacksonville defenders hugging each other.
And they sold it.
They got it. They have the football. It's not going to be an easy finish, Jeff Fisher. I mean, no matter what you think here today, everything that the Oilers have done has been a struggle. And now Jacksonville has the ball down 6 at the Houston 45-yard line. All the Oilers had to do was just run the ball out.
Well, what looked like a normal handoff and run, again, I think we're seeing Jeff Longman making a hit, and once again, not just getting the grab, but I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know. Did you see that? That the ball that had the hand in it contacted the ground, and when his hand hit the ground, the ball popped out.
What a finish now for Mark Brunell. You can definitely win the quarterback job right here if you can get them into the end zone. First down carry. Lachey Maston brings it down to the 40, near the 40 at the 41.
They're going to have to get back up on the line of scrimmage. Right now, it's clock management time.
Get up to the line. Why are they even huddling?
I don't get it. They got to get up there, and they should have a couple of plays set up already and be able to make the audible calls at the line if they need to.
They're not even going to get this off before the 2-minute warning unless he's Superman up there. Nope. 2 minutes to go. They just wasted 14 seconds. All right, 2 minutes to go. They have the ball, needing a touchdown to win it.
Let's take another look at this fumble, which is going to be a big play in the game if Jacksonville's able to score here. Watch Thomas as the ball comes down, the hand that has the ball in it, he sets it down. As it contacts the ground right there, the ball pops out. So the ball came out from contact with the ground, which should not be a fumble.
That's his 2nd fumble of the game.
And that's what he's saying, too.
2nd down and 6 for Jacksonville. They're down by 6. They're at the Houston 41-yard line. Cedric Tillman is in motion. Brunell, Willie Jackson to the 29. They have 1 timeout left. Again, they got to get up to the line of scrimmage.
Well, he's doing it. They're hustling. He's making the calls. But in situations like this, coming off the timeout, you got to have 2 or 3 plays called. Make adjustments and audibles as you need them.
Brunell getting a blitz from the outside. Pete Mitchell has it, short gain to the 27-yard line. Again, 1 timeout left. They trail by 6. They're looking for their first win ever.
Pete Mitchell and Cedric Tillman both ended up right in the same spot. Neither one of them in position to pick up any kind of yardage.
Brunell shotgun. 2nd down. He's going to run. He's got a wide open avenue. He's still going to keep it and get out at the 15-yard line. Great play by Brunell.
And did you see the awareness of Brunell as he made the run? He pump faked with the arm still, hoping that it might freeze one of the linebackers. Now watch as he takes the shotgun snap pretty quick. He decides to run. Now in the middle of this run, watch him here pump fake with the hand. At that point, he's thinking maybe he's going to freeze a linebacker who thinks he's still got to go back in coverage. But at that point, those linebackers coming so hard, I don't think any of them are going to break off of the pursuit on him.
Kevin Gilbride huddled up with Tom Coughlin. Mark Brunell came in and relieved Steve Berline after he lost the starting job this week. He comes back in. He's trying to get them to their first win. It's a first down at the 15. Desmond Howard, he has some blocking. Howard's going to go in. Touchdown, Jaguars! With a minute 3 left, Jacksonville has tied it
defensive backfield to make the stop. Once he was able to slip by the linebackers, he was gone.
Big kick now. Hollis is in. The holder is Barker. This is for the lead. It's 17-16 Jacksonville. With 1:03 left, Desmond Howard, the former Heisman Trophy winner, goes in for the touchdown thrown to him by Mark Brunell. And it comes after a Houston fumble, a controversial fumble, but here's the play that did it.
There's Blaine Bishop blitzing here, linebackers blitzing. The ball is dropped on a quick one to Desmond Howard, who runs to the middle. Now there's no safeties there because they blitzed. The corners had to react and try to come in and make the play, but Howard, with his speed, they just couldn't get an angle to make a play on him.
Well, I know Desmond Howard has had a lot of big touchdowns in his high school, his collegiate, and his pro career. Well, he had the first time he touched the ball in Washington, didn't he, go for the touchdown on a punt return? But boy, look at this. Desmond Howard catches the ball and goes in for the touchdown with 1:03 left. And Mark Brunell has led them in to take the lead.
And a very important point about Desmond Howard, Cleveland St. Joe's.
Bob Golick's high school. Everybody that's been watching the Steelers and the San Diego Chargers, you are looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars, who lead with 1:03 left. Looking for their first win ever. They have rallied back to take the lead in the final minute of this game. Mel Gray on the ensuing kickoff goes over the 25 out near the 28-yard line. The Jacksonville Jaguars trailed 16-10. They looked out of it. Rodney Thomas of the Oilers fumbled the ball at his own 45-yard line after it was stripped by Jeff Lageman. Mark Brunell and the Jaguars back on the field. Brunell was lifted as the starting quarterback late in this week. Practice week, Berline came in, took them for 3 quarters, and then Brunell came in the 4th and hit that man Desmond Howard with a pass that he took in for a touchdown. The point after was good, and it is 17-16. Jacksonville in the lead. Houston with the ball at their own 26. Chandler, and he hits the official for the second time in this game. He hits the official for the second time in the ball game with a pass. He hits him in the head.
You know, good awareness by the ref. Same guy. While he's standing there, you know, his job in the pass situation is to step up and look into the line, see what's happening up there. The ball was thrown low, and he even tried to duck and avoid it. But boy, I tell you what a difference a series makes. One series ago, the Oilers wanted to run out the clock, just get a running game. This series, boy, they've got to get it, open it up, and they've got to score some points.
Only one timeout remaining in their arsenal. 55 seconds left. Deflected pass. Gogenius cannot get to it, or else this thing would have been over. He could have picked it off at the 35-yard line, and Kelvin Pritchett deflected him with the ball. Welcome everybody who's been watching the Arizona Cardinals ball game today. Jim Donavon and Bob Golick sitting in the Astrodome in Houston, and yes, the score is right. The expansion Jacksonville Jaguars lead 17-16 with 51 seconds left in regulation time. Chris Chandler, 3rd down and 10. Throws. Hayward Jeffries is open. First down Oilers at their own 42. They only have one timeout left.
Now the Jaguars put 3 guys in the line. That's the stupidest thing you do. How are you going to rush 3 guys in a defense and get a quarterback against 5 or 6 blockers?
Chandler with a half minute to go. Nobody to throw to, and throws, and it's incomplete out at the 46. It was intended for Derek Russell. He'll get a stoppage of the clock with 24 seconds left.
Now the Jaguars are putting 3 guys up front. They're manning out in the corners, and they got 3 guys deep over the top. The problem is, on that last time, 2 plays ago, those deep guys are just laying back. Obviously, it's a version of this prevent defense. They don't want them to break the long one, but they've got to keep them out of field goal position because Del Greco has already kicked a 53-yard field goal.
17-16 Jaguars by 1. that's what they're going to do. 15 seconds remaining in regulation time. Incredible finish when we come back to the Astrodome. This is the NFL on NBC.
If you're ever in the hot...
Back in the Astrodome, on the sideline, a man capable of winning the ball game. Al Del Greco, that's what he's done today. 29, 53, and he had plenty on it, too, and 32. Now the situation clockwise. 15 seconds remaining, regulation time. History in the making for the Jacksonville Jaguars if they can come up with one big defensive play and run out the clock. They're looking for their first win ever. Chris Chandler is trying to get the Oilers at least a field goal range, but they're out of timeouts. So let's watch on 1st and 10. Chandler, Robbie Thomas pulls it away from the defender and scoots out of bounds. The ball was almost picked off. It was almost picked off by Darryl Boykin, and somehow Thomas reached in and pulled the ball away.
Boykin came very, very close to making a huge play there. But you know, we're talking about a couple of yards pickup, but with Del Greco's range, that's all they need to get into the range. Boykin, a great play for the ball, but man, he has the support over the top. I guess you can at that point go and take a shot at making a big play.
This is it, though. This is the one that they got to either get out of bounds because they have 10 seconds left to allow Del Greco to get on the field. They have no timeouts. Chandler rolling. He's got Jeffries over by the sidelines. He tiptoes on that line. It's a good catch. He's at the 34. And with 4 seconds left, Jeffries has given Del Greco a chance to win it. Jacksonville.
Now he will have approximately a 52-yard field goal.
He has hit from 53 today. He's 3 for 3. This is for the win, and Jacksonville's going to ice him with their last timeout.
Yeah, like that works. I talked to enough kickers, especially the guys who've been around for a while. I said, what happens when the defense calls a timeout? Does that psych you out? They're like, no, just give me time, just sit there, relax a little bit more. It does absolutely nothing for these veteran kickers.
Chandler got them down there in field goal range.
What a great second half he had coming back, establishing a nice pattern, kind of ball control with a short game, using a lot of different receivers.
Al Del Greco, once again, 3 for 3 today. He has hit from 53 yards. This one to win the ball game will be from 52. The holder is the punter, Rich Camarillo. You notice nobody went near Del Greco during that entire timeout. If he misses it, Jacksonville has their first win ever in the NFL. He's going to miss it! And the Jacksonville Jaguars of Tom Coughlin have won the ball game!
Look at those guys on the sideline. That is more emotion I've seen out of Coughlin than I've seen since he started this in the preseason at camp. He is so excited right now.
Tom Coughlin and the Jaguars looked like they were out of it. They didn't have the ball. Houston had it with just over 2 minutes to go. Rodney Thomas fumbled. Mark Brunell came in, led his team down the field, got a big scramble for a first down, then threw to Desmond Howard, who knocked it home for the game-tying touchdown. The kick was good, and then Al Del Greco misses from 52 yards away, and Jacksonville is in the win column.
And Jim, besides the excitement of making the win, he's got to look at this game and say, we played a nice, pretty solid game. First half half was good. It kind of tailed off a little bit, but they were able to regroup and play a fairly consistent game where they showed a lot of good things both on offense and on defense.
Del Greco was very good today. 3 for 3 before he missed. Mark Brunell had lost his starting job after playing last week against Green Bay. He was down when we talked to him yesterday. He didn't understand why he lost the job. They had gone back to Steve Berline, who played for 3 quarters, had given them a 10-0 lead, but they went stale in the second half, and in the fourth quarter, Coughlin made the move and lifted him for Brunell, who took them to the win. Congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars.